Welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 332, recorded live on February 24th, 2026. And my name is Steve. I'm so glad you're here. I'm also joined by Barry. Barry, it's time to stop playing Virtual Boy. It's time to talk about the podcast now.
What? Oh, we're doing this? Oh, hi, everybody.
Right, yeah. Hey, everybody. Virtual Boy's here. So we're going to be talking about that and lots more on this episode. We've titled this one Virtual Insanity. There's a lot of puns in there. Of course, the amazing Jamiroquai song. But Nintendo seems to... They've released the Virtual Boy app on Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. But then they've also kind of gone a little insane recently, like not acknowledging Zelda when I think they should. And so many other things that we're going to be talking about on this episode, including a brand new Nintendo Treehouse Live that just went live today. So thank you so much, Nintendo, for waiting on us and doing it before our podcast, so we don't have to cover it 2 weeks later like you normally do. So much to talk about on this episode. But before we jump into that, Barry, how you doing?
I'm I'm holding up. It's been a crazy couple days. We had the snowpocalypse just hit us, and we have
That's
more on
true.
the way. And
That's
it's
like
just,
part 2. So you're waiting on part 3 now?
yeah, I'm tired already. It was one of those things where the snowblower just wouldn't work on the apron because it was plowed so much, and I'm just like, I'm out there and I'm chipping away, and I'm like, sucks. We did it. We're
Nice.
fine. Everything's melting, and that's just it's winter. We've had a few good winters, like maybe 4 in a row, where
Yeah.
we really didn't have much. And you know
Yeah.
what? It's a good excuse to stay inside and play video games.
There you go. I have not had that because it was a high of I think 69 today in Colorado, and it's supposed to reach low 80s tomorrow.
Wow, what is up with this? I
I don't
wish.
know. We need your snow. So if you can figure out somehow to bring that over
Oh
west,
my
that would
God.
be fantastic
You
because
can
we
have
really
it
need it.
all. We're tired of it. We have so much snow. My God.
Oh
Please take
man.
it.
If we don't get any, we may have some fire risks this year. So we really need it.
I think the ground right now is so saturated. I don't think we have to worry about that here.
No, probably not. Hey, thanks for joining us, everybody. If you're not joining us live, be sure to do that in the future. We go live every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. We'd love for you guys to join us live on YouTube or Twitch. You can jump in the live chat and just interact with us throughout the entire episode. We'd like to refer to the chat as much as we can as we're talking about the games we play, as we talk about the recent news and all that stuff. So if you are watching us live right now, be sure to say hello in the chat, and also let us know what games you have been playing, because we're going to jump into that pretty soon. If you've not noticed yet, Greg is also absent on this episode. He's going to be back, as far as we know it, on the next episode. But he is traveling with his family right now, and so wish Greg the best and taking some time off. So, but yeah, we're gonna be talking a lot about a lot of stuff tonight with just Barry and I. So before we jump into any of that, just a reminder: if you're new to the podcast, be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Subscribe on YouTube as well. We'll get a bunch of different videos, game chats, and reviews, and gameplay videos, and so much more that's coming down the line. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well. And follow us on social media. We've got a Discord. All those links are going to be in the show notes and the YouTube description as well. But let's jump into what we have been playing. And Barry, go ahead and take us away.
Yeah, so played quite a few different games this week, or these past 2 weeks, I should say. And starting off on the Switch, I did Pokemon Unite and Asphalt Legends Unite. One of the things that happened that I talked about, and it was a pretty big deal for Asphalt, is they had some kind of issue, and it might be because they just launched the Switch 2 edition of the game, where they had a big issue where Switch players were not allowed to access the season, the like the season pass kind of deal where you can get a lot of rewards. And if you're part of a club, which is the like a guild for that, you can't contribute, you weren't able to help, and it really sucked. and we couldn't partake in any of the events. Like it was like we were disconnected. Like multiplayer, the limited multiplayer we could do was just Switch people. So that was actually resolved
Oh.
last week. I think Monday, like last Monday, it was resolved, and like suddenly it was like, here's like 100 events that have been going on. You have like 5 days to complete them, and I'm like, oh my god, you know. So I've actually played a little more than usual just because I'm like I'm trying to catch up and I'm trying to help my club because my club is one of those where you have like a limit before you get kicked, like you have to
Mm,
contribute because there's like milestones the way they work. So if your club hits like 100,000 points, you get gift, and 200,000 points, everyone gets a gift. So everyone is contributing. So it's a really cool idea to get people to play, but
mhm,
I just couldn't participate. So thankfully that's fixed. Switch players have access. There's a Switch 2 edition, which I have not tried. I downloaded, but I didn't try it yet. I'm still playing on Switch. I'm having fun with Switch. So I might leave it there, but who knows? Um, then a couple game chat games, Rayman 30th Anniversary Edition, which we will be talking about. Steve and I will be doing a game chat on, and just you know what to expect. But we will also talk about it a little bit later on in this episode. And Poker Night at the Inventory, which is another Telltale game that actually got delisted when Telltale went out back in 2019. So Skagabe, who did the 7 Max remasters, remastered this game, brought it to Switch. It's coming out, and it's really interesting. It's a fun game. It's poker. I'm doing a game chat with Tristan and Greg on this one, but just a brief synopsis: you're playing poker in the inventory with 4 characters: Strong Bad from Homestar Runner, and Max from Sam and Max, and one of the guys from Team Fortress 2, and then Tycho from Penny Arcade. And they talk, and you could turn off the talking, or you could have them talk, and they tell stories, and it's funny, and you're playing Texas Hold'em. And
Does the
it's
stories,
fun.
like, does it connect with how you're playing at all, or is it just random?
Oh, no, they will do stuff like if you go all in or if they lose or if they
Okay,
fold, they all have little lines, but then they'll also just randomly start telling stories about their own respective games or make comments referencing their characters from previous things. And
nice.
like if you do what Strong Bad may feel is a dumb move, you'll be like, "Oh, that's something Homestar would do," you know, like and Max talks about the DeSoto and talks about Sam and stuff like that, and some of the characters from those games. And Team Fortress talks about stuff that they fight, and Tycho will reference real world stuff, and they'll reference that he's a comic book character
Hmm,
and all that stuff. It's really clever, and if you enjoy those characters, even like 3 of the characters, you'll get a kick out of it. And if you like poker, if you don't like poker, but we'll talk more about it at the game chat. But it was really cool to see this come back. I hate when games get delisted and there's no
mm,
physical because the game is gone.
mm,
So it's really cool that there's a new way to play this game. Now,
cool.
hopefully they get the sequel. We shall see. Then I started working on a game, Shalnor Legends 2 Trials of Thunder. I played the first Shalnor Legends a while back. It's a Zelda clone, as is the second one, done by one guy. I really enjoy them. This one uses a different art style. It's more 3D. It feels a little slower, but I'm just early game. But the passion is there. Like this guy does, in my opinion, some really good work, and just really happy to support him and play. So I've been working on that. Just feeling a little Zelda love. I
Mm,
wonder why I'm feeling a little Zelda
mm,
love right now. And I've played all the Zelda games, so I wanted to play a different Zelda style game. So I've been playing this one, and so far I've been enjoying it. Not as good as the first one yet, but I'm still early. Also decided to play a game called Death Come True, or
mm,
Death Comes True, and this is one of the only games by the developer and the creator of Danganronpa and Raincoat and Shuten Order and 100 Line that I haven't played,
mm,
and it's on the Switch, and I was like, oh, let me play it, and I was expecting this grandiose adventure, and it's a interactive show. Like, you remember when we did Late Shift, an early
mhm,
game chat on the Switch? It's an interactive movie with all
mm,
live action, and they go play through and you play different decisions. Unlike Late Shift, which was short, they're both short. Late
yeah,
Shift gave you multiple different endings. This one, there is 2 endings, but it's pretty much you go through and choose A or B. If you choose A, you die, and then you can restart and you like go back and you can choose B. So you can really get through it in one sitting. It's not meant to be this 100-hour epic. It's
mm,
much quicker, 30 minutes to an hour. But it's crazy and it's totally from his mind, and it will. change your perspective, and what you think in the beginning of the game is definitely not how it ends. So I had a good time with it. It's a short playthrough. Definitely recommend it if you enjoy that kind of stuff. It's introductory too. If you're like, I don't know if I like the craziness of like that type, try this. 30 minutes to an hour. Just you have subtitles. Like it's not in English. It is subtitled
Oh,
because
okay.
it's live action Japan.
Mm,
And the fact that they put English in there to bring it to the West is actually kind of shocking because they could have
hmm
left this in Japan, and I don't think many people would have even noticed. But I had fun with it. Another game, speaking of these type of games that just came out, Paranormal Sight, The Mermaid's Curse. We talked about at the last Nintendo Direct. Came out and I finished it, and like the first game, I loved it. I'm so happy to see Square do this type of visual novel adventure. Um, there's there's a lot to it. There's a lot of both paranormal sites do something that I absolutely love that very few games do. Games like Doki Doki Literature Club does, stuff like Bravely Default does, and that's where it takes you out of the game. Like you have to think not in 3 dimension, you actually have to think in 4 dimension.
hmm
It's like to get all the endings, it's somewhat cryptic, somewhat you may have to like, oh, nothing's happening, but you have to like look into the logs. And there's a lot of logs, there's a lot of backstory in this game, and they don't tell you. And in fact, a lot of parts they ask you, oh, I'm so and so. Who am I? And oh, who am I? I gotta look through the logs and read the backstory. Oh, you're and look for the reveals. It makes you feel like you're really doing the research, like you're
hmm
finding out this mystery, you're going through. And there's one part that was actually a reveal that I figured out, and two of the characters are discussing it. One of the characters like, I still don't get it, and their partner's like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'll let you figure it out. And you're going to notice that the log is updated. And if you never do anything else, that reveal is never said again. But if you go through the log for that person, the reveal is written in the log, like they took notes. And so I like that. It allows you to get as involved as you want. It's not a terribly long game, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope Square keeps the series going. So again, if you enjoy this type of things, you'll love it. You don't have to play the first game. The first game is referenced, but none of the characters come over. It's referenced in the sense of this takes place on an island in one area of Japan. The other one is oh that's similar to the incident in Tokyo, which was the
mm,
first game. That's about it.
cool.
On the Switch 2 side, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds just added II from Monkey Ball, and they did a Monkey Ball festival, so I took part of that. That's always fun. That's a great game. Pokemon Legends ZA still doing some trading. I played some Fast Fusion, which is a game I wanted to review when the system came out.
Yeah.
Finally got it on sale,
Hmm.
and I never played the other Fast games, so
Oh,
it was
really?
kind of weird. It was weird. I don't know if the other ones use like a blue orange mechanic where you have to
hmm
switch colors to get boosts.
I think that's different for this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in this one, like you're either blue or orange, and there's like boosts on the ground, and if it's orange and you switch to orange, you go faster. If you're on blue, you get slower. So
Yeah.
you have to constantly swap between, very much like Ikaruga. I
Yeah.
liked systems like that. It was a lot of fun. I
Mm,
just played a very short little bit, but I messed around with it. I also messed around with the Virtual Fighter 5 Revo World Stage version beta. I don't know if you saw this. The new Virtual Fighter is coming out, or new
mhm,
version of this version. And on Switch, they did I think it was just this past weekend.
mm,
They did a free trial where you can play through arcade and play online. It was just to test it. Had a lot of fun. I'm
mm.
not a huge Virtual Fighter fan, but it played exceptional on Switch. Like it looked really good,
Good.
and I think it was smart that they let people try this out. So I messed around. You get a title if you play it and then play the main game.
Mm,
So I did that. And then Mario Tennis Fever was the big one. I played a lot of Mario Tennis Fever that came out after
mhm,
the last podcast we did. Played through. I unlocked all the characters, all the rackets, all that. The only thing I haven't done yet is the All Trials mode, which is so weird because Nintendo didn't advertise this at all. They
oh.
didn't say anything about this.
I'm like,
No,
I have
and
no idea what you're talking about. Like, I've not heard of this.
so it's so weird too because people complain like, "Oh, it's a sports game. It's not gonna have. It's $70. It's not gonna have a lot of content."
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this game has a lot of content.
Hmm,
You've got an adventure mode. Yes, it's not as amazing as the others, but it's fun for what it is. It's more of a tutorial. It's about
mhm,
4 hours. You've got you've got the the big thing is the trial. Oh, you got tournaments. You have
Mhm.
3 different levels of tournaments to go through, both singles and doubles, and you have to do it to unlock stuff. And then you get the trial towers. And the trial towers, there's 3 trial towers, there's 10 missions, and you can't fail more than twice. If you fail the third time, you're out. So you have to do all 10 without failing more than twice. Easy, medium, hard. What they don't tell you is that when you beat hard, it unlocks all trials. And all trials is 100 mission-based objectives. Think like Smash Brothers Melee, where they'll give you not only what you have to do, but you have 3 objectives in it. Like, let's say you have to win, you can't let your opponent score, and you can't hop, or you have to return every fever racket, and then you have to try and do them all at once, or you could piecemeal. Like if you do it 2 out of 3, you can come back and get the 3rd star.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's 100 of these to
Wow.
get 3 stars on, and that's a lot of solo or single player content.
Wow.
On top of that, there's also the special modes. There's like the rings and piranha plants and hitting targets for points and stuff like that. And those have multiple difficulties. Again, singles, and you could play all those multiplayer as well. There's a lot of stuff to this game. Like
Hmm.
I was shocked at how much they did, and I liked Aces, but the one thing I didn't like Aces was like the movement where you could use like stamina to do special flips.
Hmm.
I like that they removed that. It's just flat out tennis, and then the fever rackets make it more fun. But yeah, Mario Tennis Fever. I had a blast with it. I'm gonna go back to it to slowly work on those old trials. I got burned out. I'm like too much. It was just too much content. I know. And then we were going to talk about it a little bit. NSO Virtual Boy,
Hmm.
and again on PC, still playing Final Fantasy 14, and on mobile, Mario Kart Tour, LinkedIn Games, New York Time Games, and Pokemon TCG Pocket. Now I need a break. I talked a lot. You
Yeah,
turn.
he played a lot.
We go to the chat
I
first.
didn't as much, but let's go to the chat real quick. New Plays is joining us. Hello, and so he's been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake and replaying Life is Strange games. That's cool. Uh, Getting ready for the next one. And then decided to dust off my DS after years of playing a handful of random games. That's great. I recently booted up my DS for the first time, or my 3DS at least for the first time in a long time, just to see what it was. And man, that thing chugs. Like, it's not quick. I mean, the games are fine, but that menu system just chugs. So I'm so glad that Nintendo figured it out for Switch 2. Like that menu is super fast. The eShop is great. It's great. But yeah, I occasionally will boot up my 3DS as well and go, should I play a game on this? And then I don't. But I do boot it up every once in a while. I have not been playing as many games. I've been traveling a couple times this last week, a couple times, and one time I actually didn't bring my Switch 2. I just kind of looked at myself and go, you know what? I know I'm not going to have time. It's just going to take up space in my bag. I'm not going to be able to touch it while I'm gone. So I left it at home. And then I took another trip and I brought it with me thinking I would have plenty of time, and I didn't at all. So, um, yeah, so I didn't play a whole lot over the last couple weeks, but I did play some Rayman 30th anniversary. Again, we'll get into that at a later time for our game chat. But yeah, I'll just say I don't remember playing much of the very first Rayman. So it was almost a new experience for me on that, because I played some Rayman, but I don't remember if I actually played the very first game or not. So this was a lot of new stuff for me for this game. And then I think I played some Animal Crossing New Horizons just a little bit, like decorating my hotel rooms and things like that. Pokemon Legends ZA made a little bit more progress in that. But most of the time I was playing mobile games. So Pokemon TCG Pocket, Last Z, and Clash Royale, of course. And then played some Virtual Boy games. Before we get into some Virtual Boy stuff, I did want to show this off. And what I think I'm going to do this is I'm going to show you guys what this is. And then I'll talk about it in our next episode, actually, after I've used it for a little bit. But a company named QWPS, it's COOWPS, has they shipped me a fully functional split protective case set. And so I just wanted to quickly unbox that for you so you guys see what it is, and then I'm going to try to use it for my Switch 2 over the next 2 weeks, and then we'll kind of revisit that in the next podcast and let you know like what I think of it and stuff so far. But basically, this is the front cover for the Switch, and so you can put all these different games in it, and take it with you. So this is a full cover for the Switch 2, and then the back cover is uh is on there as well, and it's got the ergonomic like attachments for the Joy-Con that will attach on there as well. So that's the kind of the ergonomic attachments. The Switch, the back of it also has a kickstand of its own and all that stuff. But the cool thing is that you don't have to remove this when you put it in the dock. It's thin enough, well, it still fits in the dock. It's also got a magnet on there. So I know there's some different batteries that you can attach that have magnetic. So you can attach a battery via magnets and everything too. So again, I'll check this out over the next 2 weeks and report back like what I think about it. But it was cool of WOO or sorry, COOWPS to send me this. I don't know how Coops or something like that. I don't know. But this is the P2 is what it's called. So yeah, I'll report back in a couple weeks and let you know how that went. But let's do a little mini game chat on this episode because we haven't done that in a while. And when I started looking at the games that come out over the next couple weeks, I'm like, we had Virtual Boy that actually has dropped on the Switch and Switch 2. So Barry, what was your initial thoughts having Virtual Boy games on the Switch and Switch 2?
I think it's great that more people, I've seen a lot of people talking about experiencing games that they never got a chance to ever. And I think that is wonderful. Because as a Virtual Boy aficionado and someone who die hard, loved the series, loved the system, got all the games, played all the games, got the imports back then that I could get my hands on just to play more games. Uh, it's wonderful that people get to experience some of the library. How does it feels just like the old Virtual Boy outside of the controller. Like it feels like going back in. And I made the mistake, and my wife also made the same mistake because she never played the Virtual Boy really. She only played like the store demos, like most people did back then. They played the store demos and that's it. We played the game in our kitchen on the kitchen table. We have a skylight, and in the midday, it's very, very bright in the kitchen. So when you're in that dark environment and you pull back, oh, it hurts your eyes. That hurt my eyes, not the Virtual Boy,
Oh,
just going from dark to extreme brightness in the room, like whoa, and it hurt her too. But as for the didn't hurt me at all, and it was great that this is accessible. And my biggest complaint, which has been my complaint every single episode we've done, and we've talked about it, and I pray that they do some kind of update, is the inability to play on the TV or handheld without looking at the little screen, but on the TV, just to give people the option of whether they want to play with the 3D or not. And I still feel like they're doing it right now just to encourage people the Virtual Boy, but I think hopefully after a little bit they'll be like, "Hey, we're doing this update, and we'll call it a feature." And you know what? Call it a feature. That's fine with me.
yeah,
Pat yourself on the
yeah,
back.
yeah. It doesn't matter how you want to describe it, just make it happen. And new plays actually is one of the things that he's saying in the chat right now is that yeah, the fact that you can't play it without some sort of attachment is kind of crazy at this point. I mean, they have trailers. They have gameplay images. Like clearly, like they have done this on their own. Just give it to us. Let us
It,
experience that as
it
well.
it's also so heartbreaking because if you pull it out and you don't use the Virtual Boy and you look at the game list, all the box art is there in beautiful color like it is,
Yeah.
and then when you look at the Virtual Boy and everything's just red for even the box art, and it's like, oh man, I want to
Yeah.
see that colorful box art at least.
Yeah. Yeah. That was something that I think threw me off when I first booted it up. I was like, wow, this is I thought these games were going to be red, and they are, but the menu is not. It's in color and
Well,
everything's great. And so I was like, well, that's kind of weird. I'll just remove that red thing. And like, nope, the games are still in red. So,
because the boxes were always in color, because that's how you sell
sure,
games with. If they're all red boxes, it would look terrible on the shelf,
sure.
but having that color pops. And
Yeah.
there's some beautiful box art, and it's a really cool style with that red and blue that they did with like the blue bar and the red on top. And like they never replicated it outside of Virtual Boy, and you don't get that when it's all red.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, I think the build quality of this thing is actually pretty good. Like I was surprised, and I'm sure you've probably, compared it to your actual Virtual Boy and everything. It's almost the exact same size. It is a little difficult to understand like how to open this thing. And the fact that you have to like remove the under like piece under here every time you want to switch from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2 is kind of a pain. So I'd say like figure out which one you want to use and just stick with it. There's no sense in switching back and forth, because it's a pain because you have to unscrew 4 screws, replace it, put the 4 screws back in, and it's so much better just to pick one and stick with it. So yeah, I think the big thing that I noticed, and we talked about this in our Discord as well, about how the this menu screen is almost seems too big for the actual Virtual Boy headset. And then I realized after doing some more research, and I'm maybe assuming you've seen this as well, Barry. I think the reason why it didn't look as big when I started using on Labo, which by the way, confirmed by a whole bunch of different places, including us, Labo does work with this original Switch. But the reason why it looks better is because the lenses in the Labo and the cardboard Virtual Boy are bigger. And so it allows you to actually see more of the screen. And the lenses inside the plastic Virtual Boy are smaller. And so that's why it kind of looks like beyond your field of view if you're using the plastic version, which is so frustrating. The games seem to be fine, but when you're navigating the menu, it's a little too big for the main Virtual Boy. But I think because of that, I actually had a slightly better experience using the cardboard version. And I didn't get the actual cardboard version. I just used the Labo. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll use the main, like the Virtual Boy, like actual accessory for my Switch 2 and keep that. But then if I want to play it on my Switch, I'm just going to use my Labo headset, and it looks great. The one thing that I don't like, similar to your wife, Barry, I only played it in the in-store demos, so I never had my own. But being able to keep your head in the right position all the time is kind of a pain on the actual headset. Like where like I feel like I'm like I will lean forward just a little too much, leaning into it, or because you have to like, you know, it that doesn't strap to your head. So you have to keep your head in the right spot. If not, it gets a little bit blurry one way or the other. If I'm a little too high, if I'm a little too close, I'm a little too down. And what will happen often is I'll start leaning into the headset as I'm like playing more and more. And it starts to get a little blurry. And then I just back up just a little bit and make sure I'm centered and everything's fine. So it's kind of a pain to keep your eyes right in the middle there. And I don't know if that was the same experience on the original one or not, but that was
No,
just a little
it wasn't even an
complaint.
experience for this for me. Like I just sit on my table and I angled it so that it was actually like angled, pointed towards the table more,
Maybe that's
and
what
I
I need to
leaned,
do.
and I kind of just like sat down and leaned forward into it, kind of like leaning and let it
Uh,
like rest on me, and I'm looking down towards the table, but I'm comfortable because I'm at my regular leaning angle because I angled the Virtual Boy to
mm,
be as is and I tightened it.
See, that's
So
a
then I'm just
veteran Virtual Boy user
so
tip
so
right
then
there.
then I was just like this, just like hunkered over playing like I
Ah,
was looking at my desk, but because of the angle, I was comfortable because now I'm
yeah,
in the world and I'm just
that
like, okay.
that makes a lot more sense. I want us to both try out the other way. Have it straight up and down and lean into it, and
Oh
you'll see what I
God,
experience.
that would be
And then
uncomfortable
I'll
on my
try it the
back.
other way for you too, because I was like, this the whole time. Yeah, yeah, it was a
Yeah,
pain.
no, I
So now
see
I need to
so
know
many
it. Like,
people
lean forward.
like
I got it.
like I don't know if you can see on the video, you can see that it's angled down where the the front of it is towards the what would
Mhm.
be the table, and this is up. So when it's at the table level, this isn't exactly level, but let's see if I can get this in. I'm leaning forward, like I don't know
You're
if you could
able
see.
to
I'm comfortable
yeah.
right now. I'm so
That
comfortable, and I could just sit there because it's at an angle for me, and
that's a
that's my
veteran move.
natural.
That's a veteran move. I should have done that. I just I was uncomfortable and I kept getting out of focus. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because you wanna relax. Because
Yeah.
if you're trying to look straight, then you're bending your neck to try and look straight and
Mhm.
sitting up and, like, let me prop it up, and
Yeah.
that's very uncomfortable, and I think a lot of people try that, and they don't realize that there is that little knob on the
Yeah.
stand, and that's exactly why it changes the angle for you.
I realized it was there. I just decided not to play with it and
Oh,
try
so
it
you never
out.
played with it?
No. No, I mean, I
Oh.
knew it was there, but I didn't think. Like, it didn't cross my mind to go, "Steve, you keep leaning into it. How about you actually make it like you can do that?" So, that
So,
makes a
no
lot of
wonder why.
sense.
Yeah, if you keep it default and straight, then, yeah, you're gonna have a miserable time.
Like,
Again, that's why that's there.
well, it's so funny because like, you see it and it's straight, like, most of the time, like, when you see product shots of it, you never see people actually have it angled down, so I just thought, "Well, keep it straight, that makes sense," and
Yeah,
I kept
I'm
thinking, I'm
looking
like, "I'm
I'm
too
looking
I'm
at
too
my
tall for
my
this."
it's not in camera, but I'm looking at my virtual boy right behind my actual one from all those years ago, and it's angled
It's
down
angled
just the
in.
same.
Yeah, that makes sense. Alright,
From
well, I'm gonna have a completely different experience by the next episode then. Yeah, which games did you end up trying out?
so I started off familiar. I just did Galactic Pinball. Just to mess around with and rewind cheats in that game, man. I tell you, it's just easy never to lose a ball if you rewind every time you lose it.
That's
But
true.
I had a lot of fun just going through and playing it, and a lot of people don't know this, but that game actually has a cameo from Samus. It's her one appearance on the Virtual Boys, and that.
I it totally shocked me when she showed up. I was like, "I didn't know that this was kind of a Metroid game, kind of."
Yeah, she's there as a cameo, and a lot of people don't know that Galactic Pinball is actually like the second pinball game. The prototype or the original version was Space Pinball,
Mm,
and then they did five completely different tables, which is what's in Galactic Pinball, and Space Pinball did get leaked, so we have the original tables as well. But it'd be really cool if they would put that on the Virtual Boy and let people play the original levels without having a real Virtual Boy or an emulation or whatever. But I did that, did some 3D Tetris, which I always enjoyed as a kid. And while my favorite game, Panic Bomber, is still not on the system and not even listed yet, both 3D Tetris and V Tetris were both very good. So I was messing around with 3D Tetris. And then I played the one game that came out that I never got a chance to play, which was In Mouse, which it was just out of my price range at the time. I knew about it, and I was surprised at just how in depth that game is. I don't know if
mm,
you got a chance to play it, but
mm.
there's multiple endings. It's branching and it's simple concept. It's you just have to find the key and get to the door and get out. But it's first person, but it's not nauseating first person because you push forward and you move and you push right and you turn to the right. You don't move to the right, you literally turn. So it's the old style 3D maze. But then when enemies appear, use the right analog stick as a cursor and you have to like put the target over them and pull the trigger like a light gun game,
Huh.
and you hope you kill them before you kill you, and you reload, and there's different items and inventories, and even though it is Japanese, it's completely playable in English, and like I was shocked at how many stages there were to get to an ending, and
Hmm.
each stage gets a little more complicated, and yeah, like it's really cool. I had a lot of fun, and I've seen other people say like, "Wow, this game would have done really well in America. Like this is something totally unique," and it was just great to do that. And I see a lot of my friends playing Virtual Boy Wario Land, which is what a lot of people's favorite game is. And I plan to sit down and probably replay that. It's just all these other games coming out, and now it's
Yeah.
like, all right, finally have a little breather before Pokemon. Then I'm
Mhm.
like, all right, I'm doing the Shalnor Legends too right now, but I'll probably sit down maybe and do Virtual Boy this week, Virtual Boy Wario Land, and I'm just see what else comes out because I can't wait for the Dragon Hopper.
Mm.
Man, I've been waiting so long for Dragon Hopper.
Mm. Yeah, I just got the chance to play 4 of the games, but played 3D Tetris. I think this was my first time playing that. It took me a little bit to get used to because I didn't realize what was going on. And it's weird that it keeps rotating. It's like it's throwing this 3D gimmick on you. I'm like, it doesn't need to keep doing that. And also, I didn't realize until I got into it a little bit that it's not the same like four shaped Tetrises that like blocks that you normally have. It's like completely different. And I was trying to stack them like vertically, and you can't do that. It's so it took me just a second to kind of wrap my head around. But it was fun. It was 3D Tetris. And then played some Galactic Pinball. The game it's okay. I think I realize I don't necessarily enjoy looking at a pinball table from the bottom, looking up. And so I think that's the big thing that I'm kind of taking away from each of these games is like they tried to lean into making it 3D. And I don't know if you really needed to do that. Like some of these games could have been fine if you just stick some 3D into it, but to lean into that gimmick, it's a little bit too much. But hey, it was the early days. I get it. Um, Played some golf as well. Uh, I think it's nice that you can change all these additional features that you can't do and at least couldn't do in like NES and SNES golf games. But the fact that I don't know if you played the golf game as much, Barry, but like when it comes to like the power bar and everything, it doesn't really tell you exactly what that means. Like, so you have to kind of guess and figure it out. What's a good thing? Is it too much? Like in NES golf, like if you go too far, you'll actually shank the ball. But that's not the case here. I think it's so I was playing around with that. But then when it comes to actually hitting the ball, like you get to hit it on the actual balls. But instead of being able to control it with a little cursor or whatever, like moving it around with the analog stick, it just randomly moves. And so you have to time it just right, but you don't know where it's going. So I'm like, I ended up topping the ball so many times and not going in the right direction because it just randomly goes everywhere. And so I have no idea how to guess where is the right spot on the ball to hit it. So that's annoying. I don't really get that. And then I played some Red Alarm, or is it Red Alarm, Red Alert?
Red
I
Alarm.
see both on there. So
Red
Red
Alarm.
Alarm. Okay. And so that kind of seemed like a Star Fox game.
Yep.
Like, was it influenced by that, or like what's the history there, Barry?
I don't know if it was influenced, but I feel like they were trying to bring their franchises to the Virtual Boy, which is what Nintendo did with the new system. You had Mario
Mhm.
Clash and Mario Tennis, of course, and Wario Land, and then you have stuff like that. The never released Zero Racers is an F-Zero game. It was announced as G-Zero, and then Red Alarm was very much like Star Fox, just like Pillow Boxer was very much like Punch Out.
Mm,
And it's not Star Fox, it's like Star Fox adjacent. Like Pillow Boxer is not Punch Out, but it's Punch Out adjacent. And if it's gonna go into one of Nintendo's franchises, you could put it there.
got it.
Um,
Yeah.
and I love Red Alarm. And there's a
I
lot of hidden bonuses in Red Alarm too. Like you can
yeah.
shoot different areas and get different shapes and stuff. It's
Yeah.
cool.
I think I didn't this whole like trying to like I get the reason why the wireframe, but it makes it so annoying because I don't know what I can drive through and what I can't and what's an enemy and what it's not. And like and I didn't realize when you first start playing the game, it seems like it's pretty linear, but it's not. You're free flying. And so like it's really easy sometimes to get turned around and then I'm like, which direction am I going again? And yeah, so it was fun to some extent, but I'm like, I think they leaned into the gimmick too much, and kind of took away from the experience from me. I also wish there was some way to lock onto enemies instead
Yeah.
of just shooting. Like that would have been nice, like Star Fox 64. But yeah, I think
Look
that it
up
just left me wanting to play Star Fox 64 instead.
some of the secrets for Red Alarm
Okay.
because there's certain areas that you can shoot and different objects will appear. Like one area, if you shoot a wall, a Virtual Boy appears in three, like a wireframe Virtual Boy appears, and like wireframe characters will appear in different spots. And they don't do anything. It's more like just fun that the developers put in there.
Yeah.
But what I like Red Alarm. Like it's definitely difficult to see sometimes what's solid and what's not. You have to get used to it. But if you want a good shmup on the Virtual Boy, Vertical Force, which is coming,
Mm,
that is, I believe it's Hudson put it out. That's fantastic. It's a top down, but you also have like two layers. So you have a close layer and then you have a below layer, and it's 3D, so you see it go up and down, and you got like the pods to help you, and it's a shmup. But
cool,
I had a lot of fun with it back in the day, so I'm glad
cool.
that's coming.
That's cool. I think I told you as well, like Mario Clash was always my favorite. Again, I didn't get to play a lot of the games, but I always went to Mario Clash in the in-store demo for sure. And like, I can't wait until that comes out. One of the things that I noticed, and maybe it's just time because I haven't played the original Virtual Boy in forever. And so maybe I'm just not remembering it, but I feel like the 3D effect is stronger on the Switch version than the original. Like, I don't remember the 3D effect being that strong in the original Virtual Boy. And maybe again, maybe it's just time has let me forget that. But because I remember people telling me, "Oh, it's 3D. Oh, that's cool and everything," and then I'd play it and I'm like, it doesn't seem too much like 3D. But then when I was playing this version, I could actually tell. Like, it's almost like one of those magic eye things. Like, you have to let it settle in, and then when it settles in, I was like, wow, that the 3D effect on this is pretty good. But I don't know.
I
You've played
feel it's
this
the exact
recently.
same.
Okay.
But the thing is with any at least for me, with any 3D effect, this goes for movies, this goes for TV shows, this goes for the 3DS and stuff. I really only see the 3D for the first 3 to 5 minutes,
Hmm.
and then after that, it just kind of dissipates for me. It's just kind of like I get given, like I
Hmm.
forget that it's even 3D, and it's just
Yeah.
I get absorbed into the world. But yeah, I think the 3D effect is great, and I think a lot of people. And I think that's what Nintendo wanted people to do as well, is experience the games the way they were intended. But again, it would be really nice as an option, like the 3D slider on the 3DS, and let
Hmm.
people go to the TV. So
Yeah.
in the perfect world, they would give you the option. It's still possible with an update, absolutely. It's possible for them to change this. It's Nintendo. It depends on how stubborn. If the Virtual Boy headsets are constantly selling, this is not going to change.
Yeah.
If they stop selling and they're sitting there and they can't move and they're noticing, because I guarantee you they can see user data on all the NSO stuff. They can see what games are constantly playing, just
Hmm.
like streaming services. Now,
Yeah.
streaming services, like at the end of a month, like your contracts or licenses will expire. Will Netflix renew this show? Well, if they look at it and say, well, a
Yeah.
thousand people viewed it maybe a little bit in the last year, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe I'll do it if it's cheap enough. If they see 100,000 to 1 million people watching it, at least people every day, then it's worth more for them to keep on the service. If not, oh, that's leaving Netflix. Why? Because not enough people watched it,
Yeah.
and it's not wasn't worth it for them to keep it. I think they'll see something similar. Hey, no one's booting up the Virtual Boy app anymore. Why should we keep adding games to it? Oh, okay. What if we do this? Will this come back? Will this bring Bing Boom back? And I think we're going to get that. I think
Yeah.
we're going to get it, again, unless it keeps selling. And
Yeah.
if it sells, then Mazel Tov, then I'm happy. I'm happy
Yeah.
that more people are getting to experience Virtual Boy, but I do wish we'd had the option. Just give us the
Totally.
option.
Yeah.
Options are good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because while this is really fun to have, I don't want to play this all the time like this, especially when I have a 40-inch TV that's like right here that I can play on instead, and I don't have to like lean over. Even though now I can play more comfortably because Barry's taught me how to use it, but it's a lot easier of an experience when I can just play it on my TV or play it in handheld. Because that's the other thing. Like, I'm not going to take this with me or even my Labo headset with me when I travel, and I'd love to be able to play it in handheld, just in
Yeah,
2D as you see it right there. So like, that's the thing right now. I'm only going to be able to play this really when I'm sitting at home and have, a surface to be actually be able to put the virtual boy down and or whatever, or something to prop my arms up when I'm playing on Labo because it gets tiring after a while. So yeah, hopefully Nintendo will eventually bring that out. And like the chat saying as well, like hopefully they'll bring the controller out too, because that would be really fun to have
love the
the
controller.
Virtual Boy controller as well. So, well, let's move on to some news, and we're gonna this group of headlines. We've got some bad news and we've got some good news, and so we're gonna tackle the unfortunate bad news first, and the it all starts off with these set of four headlines, and the first one is that the it's kind of weird. You'll understand. Um, the Legend of Zelda's 40th anniversary was just the other day, and Nintendo didn't mention it at all. Like, that's the news. Like, they didn't mention anything except for on the Nintendo Today app. They mentioned that the original Zelda was released in that day, in history, and that was it. But there is rumors. There are some rumors that maybe they're going to eventually do some stuff this summer. But as of now, Nintendo doesn't seem to care.
Speaking of not caring, Sony is shutting down BluePoint Games. BluePoint Games have developed a lot of remasters and remakes, such as 2018 Shadow of the Colossus, as well as the PS5 launch game Demon's Souls. They've worked on some other stuff from Metal Gear and Gears of War, or God of War as well. And, you know, it was a good studio. They were doing some really good stuff, but Sony apparently axed the project. They were working on a God of War like live service game, from what I understand, which is never a good thing. Those have been failing spectacularly. And instead of owning up to their own decision to do this, they just killed the company. And for those of you that don't know, BluePoint Games is located in Austin, Texas. And if that sounds familiar, that's also where Retro Studios is located. And that's because BluePoint was created and birthed from ex Retro employees. So who knows? Maybe some of these employees will find their way back to retro and be working on some cool games for Nintendo. But it's a sad day for the industry with a lot of jobs. I think it's 70 something jobs are lost at this point, and that's just that sucks.
Hmm. Well, if we're on the other front, Xbox is having an interesting time right now as well because Phil Spencer was the previous CEO of Xbox Games, and he kind of just mysteriously retired recently, out of the blue. People didn't see that coming. Well, now the rumor is that he was actually probably going to be let go, so he went ahead and retired. And then at the same time, Sarah Bond uh, also immediately retired. I think she was going to be the one in store for taking over, but she resigned,
I
and
thought she was
so
fired.
or she was fired. Okay, and then I it's hard to keep up with the story actually. And then all of a sudden, so within the matter of hours, Asha Sharma was appointed CEO and of Microsoft Gaming, and I believe she was previously the head of Microsoft's AI department, or at least heavily involved in the AI department of Microsoft as well. So lots of really crazy, interesting things are happening over at Microsoft Gaming, and we don't really know what the future of Xbox and Microsoft is going to be. Lots of different things that seem really interesting on Asha's social media recently as well. Like maybe even her social media isn't real and it's all AI. So only time will tell.
Yeah, miraculously she got a bunch of platinum trophies and stuff all on the same day. Like,
Yeah.
wow. Talk about an Uber gamer that just started recently. That's not suspicious at all. But I wish I can say that that's the only bad news and the only even studio closure, but no, we have one more that we have to report on. A shocking discovery happened due to leaks from the impacted developers themselves. So nothing has been officially said, but impacted developers have mentioned this, that NetEase has shuttered TIMI Montreal. This is the studio behind games such as Pokemon Unite, Call of Duty Mobile, Honor of Kings, etc. This abrupt shuttering is just part of what seems to be happening, and Chinese companies like NetEase have closed several Western based operations with little expectation. What is this mean, or explanation? Sorry, what does this mean for those games? Uh, no one knows because no statement has happened yet. But I can't imagine like Call of Duty dying or Pokemon Unite dying because they're behind. There's a big amount of force behind it, big IP. But we don't know. But it seems that times be a changing.
Yeah. So that's some unfortunate news in the gaming world. Barry, what do you think overall about these stories?
I mean, they suck. Like I said, I play Pokemon Unite every day, and
Mhm,
they've made some changes lately that the community has not been happy about.
mhm,
Like they've gotten rid of coins and made this Unite license journey, but now you have to get the Pokemon in order as opposed to whatever one you want, and before you could get them more free, now you have to buy the battle passes to be able to get them. It doesn't affect me as somebody who already has them because I've been playing since launch, but for newer players, it definitely isn't as inviting as I think they wanted it to be. I know some players have been very unhappy. They're adding Zapdos in a couple days for
mhm,
Pokemon Day as a playable character, and it was only going to have two final moves as opposed to four like the other Pokemon or most of the other Pokemon. People were speculating that going forward they're going to be like that, which is half the work, which makes it a little cheaper. Uh, we don't know what's going to happen. I mean they've definitely have things planned months in advance, so it's not like it's like content just dries up.
mhm,
But for all these games, because they're big IPs, they'll weigh if it's worth keeping it going, and if it is, they'll find somebody else. Pokemon Unite is part of their big championship circuit that just happened. With the card games and with the actual games where they have a big, it's a MOBA. MOBA too big, the esports crowd. Pokemon Unite has done well. It does bring in millions of dollars. I don't see them ending it. I see them getting another developer and maybe changing some stuff, but it would be silly for them to kill it. Same with Call of Duty Mobile, as far as I'm aware, it's bringing in a lot of
mhm.
money. And it's a big IP. Why would Microsoft now want to kill it? Speaking of Microsoft, I think this whole thing is shady. Um,
Yeah.
I think Microsoft has been transitioning to a third party for a while now. I know there's some diehard Xbox fans. I love the 360. My Series X and my One have collected more dust than anything. Um, I just don't see the profitability there, especially with them pushing the Xbox everywhere.
Mhm,
Everything Samsung TVs can play Xbox, all this stuff can play Xbox. They're pushing it. So why should you have to have a dedicated console for that? Game Pass is also, hurt like the physical market, and it's hurt a lot of digital sales even too, because it's like, well, subscribe to Game Pass. Oh, well, they just raised that to $30 a month not too long ago, which had
mhm,
people, quitting. So I think Microsoft is in trouble. I think if they're going to stay in the console market, they need a shakeup. Do I think this is the right shakeup? Probably not, but only time will tell. But otherwise, I see them going like Sega, third party. I mean, they've already got Activision, they've got,
yeah,
Bethesda. These titles are going multi-platform anyways. Just
mhm.
keep it up. Bring maybe Game Pass to Switch or PlayStation or something. Who knows? As for the Sony thing, I think it sucks that BluePoint
Mhm.
is shuttered. I think they were talented people. They did some great work. I hope they all find new jobs and stick it to Sony. I wouldn't be opposed to any of them joining Retro and helping out, even if they were making another division and focus on just making remakes of older Nintendo games, and that's all they did. Like no new games. They were known for remaking PlayStation games. Fine, remake some Nintendo games, remake some
Yeah.
classics. They're good at it. Let them do it. Let that Retro have two divisions. Then let's have that happen. And as for Nintendo and no Zelda, that's my prediction. What do you want from me? I didn't want it to be true. I predicted it. I predicted it last month, and it's
Yeah.
happening. And I don't want to. I'm even wearing Zelda right now to show my love and to try and champion it more than Nintendo is. Uh, and you know what? It might be there's too many things going on. Pokemon 30 is this month, and we've got the big Nintendo Direct, or the Pokemon Presents, that we'll be talking about in a second. We've got the Mario movie coming out. We've got all this other stuff. No time for Zelda. You know who notices? the fans, and the fans are calling you out on it. We're calling you out on it. Do something. How about a nice Zelda collection? Hey, you know what's not available anymore? How about Four Swords Anniversary Edition? So many people forget Four Swords is its own game. Yes,
Yeah.
the original Four Swords is on NSO. You're absolutely right. But the Anniversary Edition added new stuff. It was DSiWare. It is not available for purchase anymore. Let that go to Switch. Have Happy 40. Here's a delisted game. Hey,
Yep.
how about the Tingle games that we never got in America?
Right.
Bring those over. Let's have some fun. Do a collection. Just have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Just give us more and more and more people. Remakes of Oracle of Ages and Seasons have been said for a while. Or how about this? Something super simple. The Wii U HD ports, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD. That's super easy to
Yeah.
do. Let's do that.
It's true. Yeah. And yeah, this is a little the insanity that I was thinking of when we titled this episode. And I get like you said, maybe Nintendo decided, hey, there's a lot going on with Pokemon's 30th anniversary. We want to make sure that Pokemon gets the spotlight right now. That's fine, but at least acknowledge that this game turned 40. Like, just at least acknowledge it and say more details later about how we're going to celebrate this. I think people would have been fine. I would have been fine. I think you would have been fine, Barry. Like, just acknowledge the fact that this game has turned 40 years old and say more details coming soon. We'd be happy with that. That's fine. But not to even acknowledge that it turned 40 and maybe you're going to do more later, but that's just rumors. That's just weird.
I saw a rumor as well. Here's another thing they could do. A rumor that the BS Zelda games were going to come to NSO. Bring those over. The
Yeah.
third and fourth quest from the beta Satellaview for Zelda 1,
Mhm.
the Ancient Stone Tablets, the sequel to Link to the Past that only Japan got to really experience from the beta Satellaview as well. Put those on NSO. We would be thrilled. Those are
Yeah,
new games for so many people, and it's
totally.
celebrating the history, and it's forgotten history and brand new history for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we're going to talk about in just a second, you could shadow drop some stuff like like someone else did to celebrate their anniversary. It's weird. Just to go on to the other headlines real quick. Yeah, it sucks about BluePoint. I hope that all those developers are great. I hope they find other jobs really really soon. Maybe with Retro, maybe somewhere else, but whatever. I hope they all land are able to land somewhere else. Xbox just seems weird. It's a strange world over there. And I think the only reason I actually like gravitated more to the Xbox instead of PlayStation is really the controller alone. Like I had more friends that actually had an Xbox, and so that's why I ended up going that direction and was able to get one easily when I got my was it what was the first one? Their whole naming system is dumb. The One S,
Xbox 360
the
Series
One S
One
was the
X.
first one I got, and
Okay.
it because I had a Blu-ray player. I was like, cool, that'd be my Blu-ray player as well, and that's what it continues to be. And then I got the Series S, and that's what I play Rocket League on, and the occasional game that doesn't come to Switch or Switch Two. But it's mostly because I like the controller better than the PlayStation, and that's why my PS4 collects dust. um, but then yeah, the studio behind like Pokemon Unite, like them closing down. I think what you said is spot on. These are not like little games that are making no money. So hopefully things will turn around there, and we'll. I mean, as of right now, it's not even actual news. Like we're, I guess, from the grapevine kind of thing. But most likely is happening and everything. So hopefully we'll get some more information on that soon, and along with, hey, here's our new developer, and here's how the game's going to continue on, and maybe even get better for players like you.
Wanna Before we go on, I just want to call out to Almost Sleek in the chat for
Oh,
joining
yeah.
us. Thank you. And Noob Plays also mentions the Zelda movie. How about a
Mm,
trailer for the Zelda movie? That would be cool, or behind the scenes shots, or something. Just here's a little
just a
tease
little
of what's to
teaser. Yeah.
come. Something.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nope. Nothing at all. But yeah, I don't know if they've shot enough to have an actual trailer, but a teaser would be great. Like a 15-second, just like zooming back off of the shield or something, and just like, oh my gosh, there it is. Like that'd been great. Just whet the appetite a little bit. Acknowledge your 40th anniversary and whet the appetite. That's all we're asking for. Anyway, well, there's another company that seems to know how to do this, at least better. Like there seems a little interesting how everything went down, but it seems to be they're doing slightly better because just a few days ago, Barry pops this thing in Discord and says, "Hey, did you see this?" And I'm like, "No," and we got Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green that just showed up on the eShop as upcoming games in 4 different languages each. And then all of a sudden, we're like, someone may have lost their job for letting this leak early. And then finally, at like 3 in the morning Eastern time, I think, they finally put some more information out and dropped it on different social media platforms and everything. That's beginning on February 27th, we are getting the ported versions of Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, which are the remakes of Red and Blue, at least in America, Red and Blue. And they're basically exactly that, a port of the original. There's supposedly no online play. Even the mention of Pokemon Home integration was only on the eShop listing, and that's since been taken away. So who knows what's actually happening with this game, but it's going to be dropping on February 27th. So just a few days from now. But it has been selling like crazy. It is at the top of the selling list on the eShop. So people don't seem to care that it's going to be missing features.
Well, speaking of February 27th, the reason we're so perplexed is because Pokemon Presents is going to have one because February 27th is Pokemon Day. So starting at 6 a.m. Pacific or 9 a.m. Eastern, there will be a Pokemon Presents, which they do every year for Pokemon Day. You could expect updates for all the games that, like Pokemon Cafe Remix and Pokemon Unite and TCG Pocket, with, all that stuff, and maybe Gen 10. And I suspected these were supposed to be shadow dropped, but because it even says going live after the Pokemon Day Presents, but I think they had a scramble because this seems like something they would have done. Maybe it was smart though, like you said, it's top of the eShop, so who knows?
Yeah. Well, another Pokemon game that's getting an update, I believe tomorrow is when this drops, is Pokemon TCG is getting the Paldean Wonders expansion. And so you'll soon be able to get all of the Pokemon cards of the Pokemon that originated in Paldea and lots of different Pokemon that have not been involved in the game and some others as well. So that's going to be dropping very, very soon. As of this recording, it's going to be tomorrow, almost 24 hours from now on February 25th at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
And finally, Nintendo Music. Nintendo Music has been updated pretty much every week, and these past 2 weeks have been no exception. February 20th, there was a delay, and whenever there's a delay in Nintendo Music, people get speculative, like, oh, what's happening? Why is there a delay? Why is it not Monday? And they were kind of right. It was the soundtracks for Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green to coincide with the random shadow drops that these were going on the eShop. And then February 23rd, just yesterday, the soundtrack for Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins went up. Who knows? Maybe we're finally going to get Wario Land 1 and 2 because of this. Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see. As Almost Sleek is also mentioning in the chat, yeah, the Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red games are also $20 a pop. So, and you have to get them in whatever language because that's the original version. So, like they had all these different languages. They didn't combine them into one game this time. They have 4 different language versions, and they're all $20 a pop. So, but yeah, they still seem to be selling like crazy. At least the pre-orders are going like crazy. So, yeah, what do you think of the all this, Barry?
Uh, what do I think? I think that I a lot of people have been asking why are Fire Red and Leaf Green not part of NSO? Because, there would be A, part of the subscription, B, would have online play. I think they know people want them in NSO. We've been teased with other Pokemon games like Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Puzzle League and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, but they also know Pokemon is the number one IP in the world. And they know that if they put these games that are selling for about $150 right now for an original copy, if they put them up for $20 a pop, they can make a lot of extra moolah for very little work. And based on the sales, they were right. And what's funny is I've seen this argument where a lot of people don't like NSO because they want to own their games. They don't want to have a subscription kind of deal. And bring back Virtual Console, bring back Virtual Console. So this is kind of bringing back Virtual Console, and now they're complaining, why is it not in NSO? So it's really funny. It's like you want your
Complaining,
cake
and
and eat
yet
it too.
it's at the top of the charts.
At the
So
top. The no online thing I think hurts. I think they should have patched that in.
absolutely.
The fact that home was removed now has me worried because home compatibility is huge. To be able to take these Pokemon, bring them into Gen 10 or Gen 9 or Gen
Mhm.
8 or wherever you want to do is awesome. And if that's now being removed, then yeah, that really sucks. And the fact that they didn't even combine it into one ROM, where it just at the beginning says select your language, and then that loader loads whatever specific ROM is really weird. So if you want it in multiple languages, you have to buy it multiple times.
Yeah.
That is so bizarre. But at the same time, all right, I am very much a big fan of getting older games on newer hardware so that everybody can play and the games aren't lost to
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And yes, I know you can get an AliExpress version for like 15 bucks and the GBA, whatever. Not everybody has those systems anymore.
Yeah.
So to be able to at least play it and let people enjoy it,
Mhm.
I think it's a win.
Yeah.
I think it's a win. Is it perfect? No. But do I think it's a win in that regard? Yes. As for Pokemon Presents, I'm excited. I'm ready for Gen 10. It's been a while. I look forward to the announcements. I look forward to what they have. Um, I don't hope there's nothing leaked. I hate leakers. I want to be surprised. So I'm looking forward to this Friday.
Mhm.
Paldea Wonders, I'm excited for. Yeah, I love Pokemon TCG Pocket. I look forward to the new sets. Curious what new cards and
You can have
new
something to
strategies.
collect again since you've maxed out everything else.
Yeah, got packs to open again. And Nintendo Music, I don't really play or listen to much, but I'm very happy that they keep this updated. And for those that really do use it, like I know Greg uses it, I'm really happy that there's constantly new stuff there.
Yeah.
Reliably too. Do that with NSO. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they may miss a few days, but they usually make up for it, like with the Pokemon music. Yeah. I'm with you pretty much on everything. I think the whole, I mean, if you go to if you join our Discord, you can see the whole conversation that Barry and I had at like midnight, talking about what in the world is this whole fire red leaf green thing all about, and kind of speculating everything. So that's kind of like it just was so bizarre and weird, and yeah, I think it was an accident. I think that was not supposed to go live and they had to scramble, and now here's what we got. And I think they're still like, even the fact that like some information about home was on there, like that seemed to be a mistake. Either it wasn't supposed to be on there or it was supposed to be on there, and then like the whole thing seems so wild. But the fact that we're getting the games, it seems like people are upset about it not having everything, but it's still selling like crazy. So I guess clearly it doesn't matter. And Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are going to look at this and go, well, seems like we can sell every one of these for $20 a pop, even if we don't put all the updates in it. So let's keep on going. So it's one of those weird things, but we'll see how it all shakes out. Um, yeah, I probably won't be buying it just because it is basically the same game. I didn't get Fire Red or Leaf Green originally, but if I want to play the original game, I'll just go back to my Game Boy and play Blue. I think that game's just fine, and I have a totally working Game Boy that I can play it on and have that old experience. What I do wish, and I told Barry in Discord the other day, like I wish there was an easy way to bring my my Pokemon from Blue all the way up to the modern games and everything. There's a way. It's just a convoluted way. I want an easy way to make that happen. So that'd be cool. Um, Excited for Pokemon Presents, and TCG Pocket updates are always fun. I'm doing a pretty good job of collecting as much as I can, but mostly thanks to Barry and his wife for continuing to give me cards that I don't have. So that's great.
I do want to point out two things. One, this is coming from the chat. I forgot to mention this, but it is point. New plays mentions this, that there's no physical copy combo of the two games.
Oh yeah.
That sucks that these are digital only. Like a combo of both games for $40. He says would sell it instantly, and I agree. I think they would
Hmm.
sell like crazy. The fact that they're not physical at all, and it specifically says digital only in the description. Of course, that could change because we've seen them edited already, but
Right. Yeah.
that sucks. I mean, this is Pokemon. You're celebrating the 40th or the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. Like the physical media, that's how it started. Like, let's do it. Like, let's have some fun with it.
Hmm.
Just really sad that they're not. And the other thing is, I didn't know this. Almost Sleek mentions about Nintendo Music. It does not work with Android Auto or CarPlay. I have an iPhone, so I don't know Android, but that's really weird that it doesn't.
Really? Like at all?
So yeah, I
Or
did
is it
not
just
know that.
let us know,
I
like, does it not play at all, or do you just not have the on-screen controls? Like, I understand that there's no like CarPlay app thing, but like if it doesn't play at all, that's weird. So I really thought I listened to Nintendo music in the car before because I think I tried to listen to Mario Kart music when I was driving one time. I was like, this could be kind of wild.
That's
Um,
not a good idea.
I thought I remember doing that. So maybe he's talking about specific as like having the CarPlay controls or the Android Auto controls like on the screen. That would make sense. But you should be able to play it, I would assume. Um,
Well, we'll find out when he
we'll
lets us
find
know.
out. Let us know. And if you don't let us know, I'll try it tomorrow. Yeah, yes, no controls. Okay, got it. Yeah. So yeah, it'd be cool if they did, bring out an actual app to be able to watch it that or to play it that way. Oh yeah, fully integrated would be so much better. Yeah, because right now you just have to click it on your phone, press play, and set it to the side because you're not supposed to be looking at your phone while driving, or at least have your passenger do it. I guess I don't know. All right, let's move into our main stories tonight. We're going to be talking about both Nintendo and Sony. Yes, because the Sony State of Play had some Nintendo stuff in it. But first, we'll hit the Nintendo Treehouse Live event that just dropped today, like just a few hours ago, which, again, we said this earlier. Nintendo, thank you so much for dropping stuff right before the podcast because usually you do it like the day after or a couple days after, and that's just kind of annoying. But the fact that we actually get to talk about this right after it drops is great. So Nintendo had this Treehouse Live, and I don't know about you, Barry. I enjoy when they have Treehouse Live. It's just so much fun to see them a little more casual. There's not as scripted. They're just kind of talking about the games, playing the games. We get to see a little bit more of the ins and outs of it and everything. It's funny that they call it live because it's clearly not live. It is definitely pre-recorded, especially when they said during the Pokemon Pokopia section, they're like, give us just a minute to set up the next part, and it was like back in 1 second, and they were already set up. I was like,
They did
clearly
that
this
with
was
the Mario
pre-recorded.
Wonder part as well.
The day I missed that part, but yeah,
Yeah,
that
because they
one.
switched to all systems
Oh, okay.
for the
Yeah.
multiplayer.
So, like, clearly it was pre-recorded, but that's fine. It was live when they recorded it, I guess. So yeah, we got to see both games of Super Mario Brothers Wonder, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition Meetup in Bella Bella Park, which is soon going to be competing for the longest name ever for a Nintendo game, at least first party. And then we got to see a lot more of Pokemon Pokopia, which that game drops March 5th, and then the Mario Wonder stuff drops on March 26th. So just a few days away for both of these games or updates, depending on how you want to what you want to call Mario Wonder information. But yeah, before I jump into all the details that they shared for each of these games, we'll talk about them kind of one at a time. Just general thoughts on the Treehouse Live, Barry.
It's always good to see them do this, and that's one of the things I missed about E3. Because when you weren't at E3, I felt like the Treehouse Live, which was live at the time, made you feel like you were there. Like you could keep it on in the background, watch whatever segment you want, but you felt like A, you were at E3, and B, you were getting first look at a lot of these just recently announced Nintendo games and first party games that you would be playing soon, and to build up the hype. So I love when they do these deep dives. They don't do it as often, obviously, since E3 stopped being a thing. But it's great to see them come back and do it. Weird that they chose these two games, not any of the other games, like even a Switch 2, Treehouse Live, talking about the Switch 2 before it came out. But it is super casual. Sometimes to a fault, I think. I think a lot of like, I think some people like the structure of this is how it is. This is a script we're going with it,
Yeah.
versus the random banter or the random mistakes, or obviously all the gameplay they're doing. You could see is they are doing it live. They are not like they fail one of the challenges and they're like, should we redo it? Like, now we're just gonna move on. Like, um, I think that that adds to it. The banter is real. Like watching them play like Mario Wonder in the multiplayer, like it brought me back to high school
Yeah.
and like playing with my friends like GoldenEye and Star Fox and
Hmm.
Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, and Diddy Kong Racing and all that, and just the banter we would have, and it was fun. It was
Hmm.
like, oh man, like, and I was watching this with my wife and everything. I was just looking, because as an adult, you look at a game like, will I enjoy this? But now as a parent, I'm also looking at
Mm.
it as, will my son also enjoy this? I'm like, oh, I
Mm.
can see him having a blast with this, and oh my God, I can see us playing this together. And that changed my perspective entirely on some of this stuff, because we were both agreeing, like, oh yeah, that would be a lot of fun with him, and I can see
Mm.
him enjoying that.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that that really adds to the
Yeah.
love of this, and
Yeah.
it's great to see a lot of this in depth.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It seems so much fun, and yeah, if nothing else, it made me go, I wish I had 3 friends that I could sit on chairs with and play Nintendo games with all the time. It'd be great. Why do you guys have to be all the way across the country? Anyway,
You were closer to me, you moved.
I
I don't wanna
that
hear
is
it.
true. That is true. It's still not close enough to hop over on each other's couches, but was closer. But yeah, I think it's fun. Like even thinking of your son being able to eventually control the Luma and Mario Wonder before he's
Oh,
actually
yeah,
able to
we
like jump
discussed
into
that.
that. He can kind of do that kind of thing. It's kind of fun.
I don't know. He I have fear he'll get frustrated and just
Well,
throw it.
it's still
Just
gonna waste
strap
some
on
time.
really tight.
Maybe not right now, but yeah, you might be buying some new TVs if that's the case. Let's jump into some of the details that they showed off. So they showed off two main areas in the game. The first one was the training camp. So it's Toad Brigade. I can't say that. Toad Brigade training camp, and that had some challenges basically that you play through multiplayer or single player. You can do those, and it's multiplayer co-op. And that eventually helps you track down the Koopalings. And there's a little bit of a storyline that's going on in that one. And then the other side was local multiplayer plaza. And you have 17 different attractions in that multiplayer plaza. And you have versus sections and co op sections. The versus sections seems a lot like Mario Party games, which are kind of mini games. They're all 2D side scrolling kind of set up. A lot of them on one screen, so not really scrolling at all, I guess. More just 2D, not side scrolling, but just 2D side. I don't know if you what you call that. And then the co-op games seemed to be a little more similar to what was going on in the Toad Brigade stuff as well. And then each attraction also has several different stages available from them, and those are all from the main games. It seems like as well. So it's not just 17 different attractions. Then that's it. Each of those 17 attractions have multiple stages within them that you can play through. And then game share is also included in this section. And you can also share that with a Switch One owner. And the Game Room Plaza specifically has 6 attractions that you can play locally on one system, or you can play with different systems. And that's up to 8 players locally or 12 players online. And in general, when you complete different attractions and trainings, you collect these Bella Bell water points or Bella Bell water. And that's about all we know. They kind of kept that a mystery, so we don't know what that leads to, what that'll eventually unlock, or anything like that. But you do collect some sort of water that's that kind of adds up as you play these different challenges and games and stuff. So again, this comes out on March 26th. Barry, what'd you think?
You know, I'm curious about the water. It looked like there was something you could water in the camp area, like a plant or something. But I wasn't sure how multiplayer or single player it was, included. The thing with the Koopalings and the Camp Brigade challenges that are single player. I think I probably will shoot for it. I think I can get $20 worth of value out of just that. The multiplayer stuff looks fantastic, and it's definitely something for the future with my son. Well, I do have friends locally that we can get together and play. The problem is that we're all in our 40s or late 30s. We all have families, we all have lives, and it's really hard
Adulting.
just to get hard adulting. It's really hard just to get a good group together to sit there and usually when we do get together, we're too busy chatting and talking and catching up and just discussing, oh, what movies or TV shows or games you played, not like sitting down to actually play games anymore, which is sad. But definitely something as my son grows up, I could see him with his friends over playing and watching them and playing against them and beating the crap out of them, and just all the fun parent stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think I'm glad they're showing this off, because I think, like you, Barry, when we first saw it, it looked like it was only going to be like the Mario Party style mini games. Like, I don't know if that's worth $20, because I rarely have people over to play games, and just adulting gets in the way. And like, it looked fun, but now to see all the single player options and everything else in there is cool. And so as they're showing it off more, I'm like, okay, maybe this is worth $20. And the game, like, it looks nice. It doesn't it got upresed, but that's about it. So it's not like new textures or anything that are in 4K, but it looks really good though.
We're
Which
also
is
seeing it through a YouTube video too, so
also true. Yeah, you can stream it at 4K. What we're showing right now is, I don't think, at 4K. Where it's probably 1080p, but also all the YouTube compression on top of that. So yeah, but yeah, it was cool to see it, and I'm glad they did this, for sure. So then after that, we got some information and gameplay of Pokemon Pokopia, or Pokopia. Yeah, however you want to pronounce that. The game comes out on March 5th, and this is a 1 to 4 player cozy life simulation game, is how they described it. And so they showed off both the single player and the multiplayer. A lot of the stuff that they showed off in the single player will also be present in the multiplayer. Essentially, it's exactly what you'd think. You can play the game by yourself, or you can play the game with some friends, either online or local wireless. And so you start on this barren place, almost very, very similar to Animal Crossing. And all Pokemon and humans that used to live there have now left. And you need to build up the world. And as you build up the world, more Pokemon will begin to show up. And the first Pokemon that you encounter will be a professor Pokemon named Tangrowth, and he's going to help guide you throughout the game, because you always have to have your professor to kind of help guide throughout a Pokemon game. And so that's the case in this one as well. And then as you go through the game, you can also customize your Ditto character, so you can add different clothes and hairstyles and all those different things. And you have these different copy abilities, of course, from Ditto, that you copy from different Pokemon that you encounter. For example, like when you encounter Squirtle, you'll get a watering ability that allows you to water wildflowers and trees and things like that. And that then allows you to create new habitats that allow for more Pokemon to eventually show up. So as you create the habitats, more Pokemon show up, you get more abilities, you can build more habitats, and rinse and repeat. The game also supports real time. So based on your Switch clock, or your Switch 2's clock, that's what the real time is there. It's very similar to Animal Crossing as well. And then you can also craft different items, of course, and these have different categories. Like there's a relaxation category, for instance. They didn't really go into that. They said, "Oh, we'll talk about that later," and then they didn't. But uh, and then you can craft things that also will be used in the different habitats as well, and create different habitats from those things you craft. Some Pokemon you encounter will give you a side quest that help you progress through the storyline of the game, but also will give you something that you don't currently have, like abilities or items. And then you can pick one item at a time, pick up one item at a time. So you can go around and just pick up one thing similar to Animal Crossing. Or you can use Ditto's sucking power and just suck up everything in front of you. I'm like, why don't we do that all the time? There's building kits that you can use throughout the game as well. With the help of specific Pokemon, you can help. You can build different things in the game, like a leaf den that has a one that will house one medium-sized Pokemon. And in order to do this, you need the building materials, but you also need to recruit specific Pokemon to help you build those items as well. And then you can build items either block by block, or you can use the build kits. So you can build buildings, like I said, block by block, or use the build kits. Either way works. You can also decorate the insides of those buildings, very similar to Animal Crossing yet again, with beds and lamps and plushies and different things that you craft. Of course, you will have a Pokedex as well, that as you learn about different Pokemon and you encounter them, they'll show up in your Pokedex. The goal basically is to befriend as many Pokemon as possible so you can learn the different moves, that you can build more habitats, so you can get more Pokemon, and so forth and so forth. And as you improve the environment, you also see Pokemon that their comfort levels begin increasing. So that's an ongoing thing that you got to make sure that all the different Pokemon that are on your island or your town are all happy all the time as well. And so you're basically at the beck and call of every Pokemon that's on your island. So instead of just Tom Nook, you're gonna have to take to make everybody happy all the time. So that's the main game there. But then also they have multiplayer where you can have 4 players, local, wireless, or online, or up to 2 on Game Share. Again, sharing with Switch One, which is cool. And you can go off and basically create your own habitat, with the host player's pallet town being the one you play on. So that is an important thing to note, that when you're doing multiplayer, it's the host player that is getting everything. Everything that you find, all the new habitats, all the new Pokemon is going to be applying to the host player's uh, Pokemon game, or Pokepia game, not the different players that are jumping on. Um, and The host also has to be the one that interacts with the Pokemon, which is weird. I thought it was weird. Others can't interact with the Pokemon on there; they can only build habitats. And then you can also use
No, I
emotes.
think they have to be. You have to be the first one. The host has to be the
The
first one
first
to
one,
interact, and
okay.
then
And then
other people
after
can
that, it's
interact
fine.
with
So
them.
the very first interaction, okay. You can also use emotes to interact with each other while you're in multiplayer. You can use preset messages, or you can communicate through voice chat. And then there's also a camera mode that allows you to take both landscape photos and selfies, which is just silly. Be able to take selfies as Ditto and be able to gather in it, and it looks like, Ditto's taking a selfie. So, what'd you think of Pokemon Pokepia, Barry?
I was already excited for this game to begin with, and to see more of it, I got more excited. Like, there's a lot to this, but what really excited me the most, the game looks like a lot of fun. I'm already sold. What got me so excited is when they did the segment with the Pidgey, and they were talking about, "Oh, look, the Pidgey will help you find things on the ground," and the Pidgey kept going up a mountain. And they climb some of the mountain. It's like, oh, he keeps going up. We're not getting to the top of that because we don't want to ruin anything for people. That caught me big time because that tells me it's not just this. Like it's almost like a facade. Like this is the starting area. This is how the game is. These are the base mechanics. But there's so much more to the game that we're not going to tell you. And from what I've heard from like a lot of journalists got some hands-on time, they talk about how it's so much bigger than you realize.
Hmm.
and that has me excited because there's a lot of content here. There's a lot to do. The multiplayer looks like fun. Like when they showed this segment, it's like, oh, I feel like the Pokemon you see here are scripted. I feel like you're gonna get Squirtle, you're gonna get Charmander, you're gonna get Bulbasaur as your first three, or outside the Professor. You're gonna get Scyther earlier, because these give you kind of like the mechanics. But even if you notice, like with the shaded, the tree shaded grass, that there were like six different Pokemon that could appear. But I
Hmm.
feel like it's maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I feel like because twice Scyther appeared first, both in the single player and the online. But then when they
Right.
were doing the online, she was running around showing things. All of a sudden, I saw so many different Pokemon running around that all the other people wound up, gathering and getting the environment for that. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, there's that they're in the game and that this is crazy. There's so much going on at the time, and they even talk about like even here she's walking around how it looks very dirty and dirt filled and just not a lot of greenery. And one of the hosts was like, "Yeah, if it was me, I'd be filling the whole thing in with grass right now." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you can do that. You can really have fun with it." And when they were building the house in multiplayer, I'm like, "This is like Minecraft. What they're doing. This
Yeah.
is crazy." And the fact that Ditto can then turn into a Lapras to swim around, and they swam to like a city they built with electricity, and I'm like, wow, this game just I thought that was like pre-built, and I'm like, oh wait, they built that. This is intense.
Oh,
And
I
then
didn't catch that either. I thought that was already pre-built. I knew things on
no,
there they built, but I thought the
well,
whole thing
well,
was pre-built.
that was built previously for that special segment,
Oh,
but
okay.
you have to build that yourself using kits and stuff, and getting the electricity and the wind, like all of this, and then they get to turn into a Dragonite and then can fly around. And I'm like, that's so cool that you have this, and it all uses PP, which is
Yeah.
standard for Pokemon. You have to eat berries to recoup it,
Power
but it
points.
doesn't look like that's much of an issue because it looks like
Yeah.
you got to berry trees. I thought it was clever how they use the water to grow the to water the lawn, and then the leaf to the vine whip type thing to bring out, or leafage to bring out the leaves. Then you could cut that to get leaves as crafting materials. You could build a storage box and put it next to the crafting table, and then pull from the storage box, which is cool. And you can move it around. And I'm like, there's so much to this game
There is.
that they're still not showing us.
Yeah.
And they even said like, oh yeah, the build we're doing for multiplayer was specifically for this presentation. Things will not go this quickly. We just want to show you. Like the Pokemon Center, they
Mhm.
replenished the Pokemon Center. We're not going inside. We're gonna leave that as a surprise to you. It's like, okay, there's even the sounds and the music to different things
Mhm.
were like just they're Pokemon chimes, and I'm like, all right, they're playing to nostalgia, but it works so well. And I honestly am more excited for this game now after seeing this presentation than I was prior to. And yes, it's Animal Crossing meets Pokemon, but and then yes, Animal Crossing Switch 2 edition just came out last month. But I feel like it's one of those things where you you look at and you go, you know what? The Switch 2 edition for Animal Crossing wasn't a system seller. Like this could be in that spot. That's just a compliment.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. I I love, again, I think one of the big reasons why I love the Treehouse Live stuff is because you just get to see more of the game. And I think when I first saw this game, it was the most ridiculous trailer ever. And I'm like, why would I ever want this thing? This looks silly. And it is silly, but I had no clue that it was going to be this massive of a game. And again, like you said, I think there's so much more that we haven't seen yet. And I know there is because they said that in the Treehouse Live. Like, we're not going to show you this. So I know that there's going to be so much more. But I don't think, while the what we saw for Mario Wonder is actually making me more excited to get Mario Wonder. I'm excited for this game, but it's actually telling me, I'm getting the read of, no, Steve, you don't want this game. Mostly because this seems like a lot of work. I'm
I
like,
have
I
a
don't
feeling
know.
it's
This is
quicker than
so much in this game. Like, oh wow. And like, Animal Crossing's fun, but this is so much, has a potential of being so much bigger than Animal Crossing. I don't know if I want to sink that kind of time into this game.
I was talking to my wife because this is one of those games that she saw and was super interested in. But she doesn't have a Switch 2. She just has a Switch, and she hasn't bought the Switch 2 because there hasn't been enough for her to buy it. And after we watched this, and I said, "This looks like a game for you." She was like, "This looks amazing, like absolutely." I said, "So you want to order a Switch 2?" And she's like, I don't think it's $560 worth it yet,
Hmm.
right now. Like, I'll get a Switch 2 down the road. She's kind of waiting for a special edition. I'm sure Gen 10 will get her to buy the system, and then she'll get this. She's gonna piggyback off of me, because you could do game share, so I can game share
Mm,
it to her, and then she could play around. We could do stuff together. So she's gonna live almost vicariously through me and help me out, and
yeah.
eventually get her own copy of the game. But yeah, it's funny because like you said, it's a lot of work, and it almost seems overwhelming. And one of the games I've been playing, and I actually forgot to mention this in my what I've been playing, was Fantasy Life I. I'm still playing that. Fantastic, fantastic game, and that has a lot of this stuff too. Nowhere near in the scale, just a much much more minor. And I really didn't touch much of it. I did the bare minimum. I'm focusing on the dumbing in the dungeons and doing the RPG elements and grinding and getting loot and all that stuff, because that was more of an add-on mechanic versus to the RPG, which is what I'm really looking forward to. That's the entire thing. This is that entire thing. There is no RPG. This is, and who knows? I could play this for, a short bit of time, and my goal is going to be more to collect as many Pokemon as possible. Build what I have to build, like those city we saw, and you'll probably show in this. I don't think I'll ever build something like that. But then again, when I played Animal Crossing New Horizons, I never thought I would build an island with all these extra amenities and like the cafe and an arcade and did a graveyard with an actual dead body underneath there and stuff, using like the art tiles you can do and like all
Yeah.
that stuff. I never thought I would go that hard into it, and I did. So who knows if I will or not. Time will tell how much fun I have with this, but it's looking charming. It's looking like there's a lot of fun to be had, and we'll see. Especially if friends play it, and you could do like, hey, let's help each other out. Like that'd be really cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're showing now on the screen like some of the stuff that's like a stage, a whole performance stage. I mean, like that's crazy. There's so much to this. I feel like almost like your imagination is your limit of what you can
That's
do.
yeah, I think so too. And I think that's the biggest thing is like, yeah, I'm like I already have Animal Crossing New Horizons, and there's still some things that I haven't done in that yet as well. I haven't done all the new DLC stuff. I'm still working on all that sort of thing. There's still, I realized when I booted it up after a couple of years of not playing it for the new update that I have a whole section that I have not decorated at all. I was like, why did I leave this section blank? Oh, I could be doing something over here. And so there's still enough game there for me to play Animal Crossing that I don't think I need something else. New plays also in the chat brings up there's also Tamagotchi Life that's coming out, which is also a very
Yes,
similar style of a game as well. So on top of all this, like you have three basic games that are all happening at the same time, and like
every other
I
month,
it's
January,
great,
March,
but
April.
there's a lot there. Yeah. And so I think for me, I'm just gonna land on, you know what? I think Animal Crossing is my style of those three games. Animal Crossing where I'm gonna land. But that still, again, like so many games that we talk about, that doesn't mean this is a horrible thing. And I love the fact that this exists. It seems awesome. But for me personally, I'm gonna land on sticking with Animal Crossing. But this, I love the fact that this is so much bigger than I originally thought. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, here's the city part. I thought that this was pre-built. I was like, oh, you're going to a new area and there's going to be like city folk, where there was this Animal Crossing the island and then the city. But no, like they built all this with kits or whatever, and like the electricity, the lights work. There's cables, there's the windmills up top that are producing the electricity. That little playground that they're showing there made me think of Animal Crossing. Like I built a little playground on my island for, like, oh my, like I can see myself getting hard into this if I'm not careful. And
Yeah.
I see a lot of people, and so you're getting the Animal Crossing fans, and you're also getting the Pokemon fans, and you're
Hmm.
mixing that, and that could be a recipe for huge success.
Really good.
It what really depends on is what was the budget to this game. Obviously, they're pushing it. I'm sure we'll see some of this on Friday at the Pokemon Presents. I have to imagine at least a trailer or mention that it's coming out. That would be really weird for them not to do that.
Hmm.
But yeah, if this didn't cost a lot to make, I think this could be insanely huge. But that's not to say cheap, because honestly, there's a lot of love to this. You can see there's a lot of love to this. There's a lot of care. There's a lot of mechanics. There's a lot of things with the Pokemon. Each Pokemon aren't just Pokemon to give you an ability. They have likes and dislikes, and a shade of, place of grass, or isn't just going to be one Pokemon. Just like in the regular Pokemon games, different Pokemon can appear. Some appear during the day, some appear during the night. Weather conditions. There's a lot to this that they
Hmm.
don't you don't even think about.
Yep.
And like, here's the Dragonite thing. Like that, this surprised me. I'm like, wait a minute, you could turn into a Dragonite and fly around? Like, that's
Yeah.
cool. Like, you can just see how massive it is, and you can tell that they're trying to focus on just one area and not show too much. Um, that if you're getting flight like this, you're getting a big area. This
Totally.
this whole game is infinitely bigger than Animal Crossing. But
Yeah.
you think about the size of your island, and then you think about like, we've already flown over Animal Crossing Island
Hmm.
just in
And
that little
that's
bit.
and that's why I think this is going to be a lot of work. But here's the question though, I apologize because I don't know if we've done this yet, but does game share work over game chat? Like, could I can you potentially, when you get the game, can you share it with me online and I can play on in
You
your
know,
city without actually
don't
having the game?
know, because I know Game Share works locally,
Yeah.
but I don't know if Game Share. That's a good question. If anyone in the chat
Because
knows,
I wouldn't mind doing that. Is like, hopping on
oh well,
yours, you're gonna be
well, of
fully into this.
course, I get to experience the game for free. I wouldn't mind
Well,
playing the game for
also
free.
that. But no, I mean, like, you're gonna jump in and then you and your wife are gonna spend hours and hours building things, and I don't wanna do that. I just wanna go experience what you've built.
Well, I think that was one of the things that was really cool with Animal Crossing, was when I
Mhm.
did get the itch to do something with my island, and I did, and I planned it all out, and I'm like, this is going to be here, this is going to be here, and I set up my island to be a community, and I literally forbade my wife from being in the same room as I was when I was working on the island, because I was playing on the TV. So I made her go upstairs and play. She was playing portably, because I didn't want to ruin the surprise. I wanted to
Yeah.
surprise her with what I had done. And that was the cool thing, because when I finally finished, I got to show her, and then you came over, and Hassan came over, Greg came over, and like some of my other friends came over. I was like, "Oh, check out my island! This is so
Mhm.
cool! I did this," and I went to other people's islands and got inspiration, and it was a very big community aspect, and I feel like that's gonna happen here.
Yeah,
I really do.
totally. Yeah. New Play says that, he agrees with me, that Animal Crossing is his favorite game franchise, so nothing's gonna replace it for him. So yeah, I do love that this exists. I love there's so much more to it. But what it's also done is it scared me off. 'Cause it's too much. I love that it exists, but that's a lot. I just kind of get overwhelmed by thinking about it. But anyway, so that was the Nintendo Treehouse live event that just happened today. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure you go over to Nintendo of America's YouTube channel and you can check out the entire thing. It's about 80 minutes or so,
It
and
was
you
longer than I
can
expected.
yeah, it was quite a bit. So the majority of it was the Pokemon content. The I think it's like maybe 1/3 was Mario Wonder stuff, and 2/3 of it was the Pokemon stuff. So yeah, plenty there to watch and check it out. So if you haven't done that yet, definitely recommend doing that. And then hop over in our Discord. Let us know what you guys think about it. Well, let's move into our final main content discussion this for this episode. We are running long, and I apologize for that. But yeah, Barry, tell us about what happened with the PlayStation State of Play, and why in the world are we talking about the PlayStation State of Play on a Nintendo podcast?
Well, like Nintendo Directs, not every game shown off in a Nintendo Direct is for Nintendo only. Same thing happens with most presentations. A lot of stuff, more and more, is going third party or is going multi platform. And we're seeing that here. So there were a lot of great games shown off at the State of Play. In fact, a lot of people felt it was one of the best State of Plays they've had in a while. And of course, this happened right before the whole BluePoint news, and that soured everything. But they did show off some games that were not coming to the Switch or Switch 2, unfortunately, but they showed off some that are. So I just want to run through what was shown off that is, and then you could talk about, what your thoughts, Steve, on the games shown off that are coming to the Switch, and if there's any that aren't that you might be interested in that were shown off as well. So we had Pragmata they got a demo finally, because I think it was just a Switch demo before. But that was shown off again. That's coming out in April 24th. That's coming to Switch 2. Resident Evil Requiem was shown off again. Again, that comes out just in a few days, February 27th. That's coming to Switch 2. They showed off some Leon gameplay. Brand new announced Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered is coming March 3rd. That's really, really, really soon. Switch 1 and 2 are getting that. That is the last Legacy of Kain game that ever came out. Um, Brigadine is coming back. Strategy RPG fans should be happy. Brigadine Abyss, that is coming to the Switch 2 sometime this year. I believe NIS America is bringing that one over. Uh, then let's see. We've got Rayman 30th Anniversary Edition, which we talked about at the start of the podcast. We'll be doing a game chat on that is already out. That came out February 13th. That is on the Switch only, but it plays on the Switch too. Mina the Hollower got a new demo, but I believe the demo is only for PlayStation right now. But that is coming spring 2026. Switch 1 and Switch 2 will be getting that. Neva is getting a prologue DLC that's coming. Well, it came out already, February 19th. That's Switch, just for the Switch, but again, playable on the Switch too. Then we've got 007 First Light, got another trailer that is coming May 27th. Again, that is coming Switch 2. And then Konami. Konami showed up out of nowhere. Like, Jenga Machine? But no. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 is a thing, and it is coming August 27th. That's coming to Switch 1 and 2. This is going to contain Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriot, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, as well as additional stuff for if you bet the whole bundle, you get some bonus stuff. Ghost Babel, I believe, is included with that. Darwin's Paradox put out a demo April 2nd. That comes out. That comes out for the Switch too. And I believe a physical is available for pre-order now for that. Uh, Castlevania's back. Castlevania Belmont's Curse was announced coming sometime this year for the Switch. And this is being made by Motion Twin and Evil Empire, the team behind Dead Cells, and also the team behind Rogue Prince of Persia, a game that we will have a game chat going live soon that Steve and I recorded. And I think that was it for the Switch announcements. But one of the last announcements, which I don't think hit very hard with a lot of people, was a God of War game, Sons of Sparta. That's a 2D Metroidvania that a lot of people did seem to like. Supposedly, rumors are they're going to bring that to the Switch. I don't know if they will or not, but I think that'd be interesting to see. But Steve, what are your thoughts on the game shown off for the Switch, as well as any of the ones that were shown off that aren't coming to Switch, at least at the moment, that may be interesting?
Yeah. Um, I think I mean, number one, I just have to admit I totally blanked that this thing was even happening. And then I know you had mentioned and you're like, oh yeah, make sure you watch the State of Play. and then it got to today, and I totally forgot to watch it. So there's so much that I need to go back and check out. But yeah, I think 007 First Light is still like that was a game that we knew already that it was coming to Switch, Switch 2. But like I'm still excited about that game, and it's probably the one that I am still the most excited about. The Castlevania stuff looks great. I have only played like owned. I've played a lot of the Castlevania stuff, like demos and whatever, but I've only owned just a couple games, and so this one looks cool. Metal Gear Solid stuff was just cool to see that it's coming to Switch. Like I have never been a Metal Gear fan, but the fact that this is coming is so cool. So those are kind of like the biggest stuff that stands out to me. There's definitely several games that I think I can't remember all of them, but I remember as you're talking about them, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I need to make sure I go back to check that out. I think the Neva or Neva game, like I don't know anything about that, but it's like a side scroller, like artistic side scroller kind of game. I usually like those kind of things, so I think that will be one that I'll look into. I don't know anything about Mina, the Hollower, but
It's like a Game Boy style action, like top down
oh,
Zelda like. It's like much bigger than Shovel Knight. It's from Yacht Club Games. They put like
oh, okay,
all their effort into it. It looks fantastic.
cool. So okay, good. Like, because I know Yacht Club said before they're like, oh yeah, we're probably going to eventually make a different kind of game that doesn't involve Shovel Knight, and that's cool to see. So I mean, Shovel Knight's great, so I'll look more into that for sure. Um, and then I feel like there was one other one that you mentioned, but I'm blanking on what it was. I'm kind of looking back through the list right now to see if I can remember. Um, but nothing. Oh, Brigadier Abyss. What is that one all about? Is that an RPG?
It's a strategy role playing game like Fire Emblem or
Oh,
Final
okay,
Fantasy
so
Tactics or Shining
not my
Force.
kind of thing. Uh, but love that those exist. But yeah, I'm not a strategy RPG game person myself. But yeah, I think that's cool. I think one of the things that like kind of blew me away was, we had talked about it offline about like, oh, that's cool. We need to make sure we pay attention to this because there may be some, a handful of Switch games that are announced. But to see that kind of list coming out of a PlayStation event was surprising, but cool, but surprising.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff, and I think we're at that point where we're gonna get a lot of blurred lines, where you're gonna get timed exclusive still, and some system exclusive still, but a lot of third party stuff is definitely heading to at least Switch 2, which is great because it opens
Mm,
up so many things.
yeah,
So of the games that I talked about, Pragmata, probably gonna get it, or at least I'm leaning towards getting it. I enjoyed the demo. You still haven't had a chance to try it. I do recommend you try it.
yeah. I
That's
downloaded
quick.
it,
Like I said,
but I haven't
it's
played it
like
yet.
seven. I played it in like 17 minutes. Like it's not
Yeah,
not a terribly long demo, but a lot of fun. Resident Evil Requiem looks great. I love that you can go third person. I love the Resident Evil series, but I also hate survival horror. So
I've heard that this game looks fantastic on Switch too, as
yeah,
well.
I've heard that
Like,
too.
and even the
So
developers like were blown away of how good it looks on it.
they even just had a developer interview that
Hmm.
Nintendo just posted, which is cool. Legacy of Kain is a series I loved. I never got to play all the games, but definitely the Soul Reaver games were big. And I have Defiance. I remember when it came out. I never got a chance to play it, so I think that's cool that it's coming back. What's weird is we have the Soul Reaver 1 and 2, but we don't have Blood Omen 1 and 2. Like like give us the rest of the series now. Brigadine was a series I'm not a big strategy role playing fan either, so I'm really glad it's there, and it's back, but it's not my cup of tea. Rayman, again, I'm already played it, so
Yep.
we'll have our thoughts. And I hope that this is Digital Clips. I love that Digital Clips is doing this. They've done this for the four other titles or five other titles. I hope they just keep doing this, like keep bringing collections, especially from the games from the 80s and the 90s, where games on two different systems were actually two different games,
Mm,
as opposed to today where it's on PS5 and PS4 and Switch 2 and Xbox. They're all virtually the same game. Maybe one's 30 FPS or 60 FPS, but they're all the same. Versus back then when the Game Boy game was very different than the console game, and not every
mm-hmm.
console game was the same. And sometimes, like Aladdin, is a famous example for
Yeah.
Genesis and Super Nintendo, two different developers, two completely different games. That's awesome. Bring collections like that and the history. I love the history they do behind the scenes and the development history. Like, yeah, prototypes and unreleased. Yeah, just keep it coming.
Yeah.
Mina looks fantastic. Yacht Club Games is doing exceptional with this. I love Zelda likes. We at PM we just released Pipistrello last year, which was phenomenal. Zelda like game. That's like Game Boy Color style. So it's great to see Mina doing something very similar. And love Pipistrello. I have no doubt that I'll love Mina. So very excited about that. I never played it. I know it's won a bunch of awards. I think it's great that they're adding to the game with a prologue DLC. So just keep doing it. 007 First Light. I love 007. Whether or not I get it or not, I'll have to see. But I'm interested. Metal Gear Solid. I was worried when they did Volume 1. Anytime they do a Volume 1 and there still is no Volume 2, I always get worried.
Yeah.
And throughout the history of gaming, there's a lot of volume ones without a volume two. Like even
Sure.
even from first party, like on the Dreamcast, there's Sega Smash Pack Volume One. The Sega never made a Volume Two. It's just that.
Mm-hmm.
Just call it Sega Smash Pack.
Mm-hmm.
Weird ones. Another Sega one. They did the 3D Classics on
Oh
the
yeah.
3DS. In America, it was just the Sega 3D Classics. But that was actually the second game in Japan. They did three of
Hmm.
them, and we only got the second game. But they just called it one. Like just give us those collections. Like
Yeah.
give us all the games. So I'm happy to see this. Whether or not I will get it or not, I will down the road probably. But I love Metal Gear Solid 4 is one of those games that is trapped on the PS3, and there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
games that are trapped on the PS3, and it's notoriously hard to program for the PS3, and it's notoriously hard to get off of the PS3.
Mm.
So I'm happy to see another game get out of that jail, so to speak,
Cool.
and get on other platforms. Darwin's Paradox is a game that I had no interest in, but I've heard really good things.
Mm.
I've heard like it's a lot of fun and it's surprising, and it's Konami, so I'll probably give it a shot. Castlevania Belmont's Curse, I was absolutely excited for it. I love the fact that Castlevania is back. It looks great. I'm hoping that Motion Twin and Evil Empire deliver. But the fact that we're getting a new Castlevania after all this time is incredible because the last time we had Lords of Shadow, which was kind of its own little mini trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
and then that died, and I think Lords of Shadow 2 was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was like what 2013. It was 360
Mm.
PS3. So it was like what 2013, maybe 2012, like it
Mm.
was a while ago.
It's
So
been a
we're
while. Yeah.
due new
And you
Castlevanias
said that's the same. That's the same team from
from Dead Cells and Rogue Prince of Persia.
Rogue Prince of
But this
Persia.
is not
Yeah.
a Rogue game. This is a
Okay.
Metroidvania. It's not
Okay.
Rogue.
So
Dead
it's
Cells
tradition.
and Rogue
It looks like it should be traditional Castlevania.
traditional
Okay.
traditional Castlevania. So that's all cool. Of the rest of the stuff, new Kenna looks cool. I didn't play the first Kenna. I wanted to, just didn't have the time. So I'm happy to see another. Ghost of Yotoi was my non-PlayStation game of the year last year. I loved it. Legends, um, just I think it was launched that day. But it's multiplayer, online cooperative, and I'm like, I played it for the single player experience, so I didn't download the patch or anything.
Hmm.
But I think it's cool that they're adding to the game and they're keeping it alive. What was another? Beast of Reincarnation looks fantastic. It's from Game Freak, and it just makes me wonder why they what they should be doing with Pokemon almost like why don't we try something maybe a little more realistic? Are you scared of that? I'm wondering if this will go to Switch 2 eventually. I don't know, but it does look really good. Star Wars Galactic Racer looks fantastic. I
Yeah.
loved Pod Racer. I'm shocked that this is not coming to Switch 2. I feel like Switch 2 can handle this.
Maybe it's one of those
Um,
that Nintendo is holding it close, and they'll announce it
maybe,
themselves.
maybe, but it does look great. So definitely interested in that. Rev Noir was also shown off by Konami. I know it's PS5 at the moment. It was just a teaser trailer. It's really early as a JRPG. Uh, it's in development for PS5, but that doesn't mean it's not going to go to something else. I think it looks good. I love JRPGs, so bring it on. Uh, then the other one is God of War, Sons of Sparta. I'd like to play. I know it's out right now, just not time for it. And they're remaking the trilogy, which is great, but I've already played through it. And X-Men fighting, Token Fighting Souls looks like a lot of fun. I wish that it was coming to Switch. I wish that it wasn't a PlayStation exclusive. I guess we'll see if that ever changes. I don't know if Sony's
Yeah.
actually paying for it, for the development, but it'd be nice to see
So
it go elsewhere.
is that a fighting game or is it
It's a
more like
fighting game.
okay,
It's a one-on-one fighting game with, well, I think you can have like partners and stuff.
okay,
But they just showed off X-Men characters in it. They showed off like Wolverine and Storm and Magic, um,
fun.
and Danger.
Hmm.
So I think the art style looks really cool. I love Marvel. Will I get it? Maybe down the road. My problem with fighting games is I play them for the story, and then I move on. Like I don't have
Right.
people around. I don't play competitively,
Yeah.
so it's hard for me to get a fighting game at launch that's not Smash. Although I did do Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1 at launch because those are special franchises for me. But I usually like to wait and get it on sale down the road, and
Hmm.
then just mess around with the stories and move on. But we'll see.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and on to our final segment, and that's what games are going to be coming out over the next couple weeks. Our next episode will be recorded live on March 10th, again at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Hope you guys join us in the live chat. But until then, we've got a few games that are coming out. As always, we're going to be scrolling those on the screen. Compliments of Metacritic's list. Just a few games that's to highlight. On February 26th is a pretty big day. So just a couple days from now, we're getting Disney Afternoon Collection finally coming to Switch, and we're getting those extra couple games in that as well. And then Console Archives Rave Racer finally drops that we talked about in our last episode, and then a bunch of other indie games that are coming out on February 26th as well. And then the next day, February 27th, we're getting Sword of the Necromancer Collection, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and maybe some other things might be dropping on that Pokemon Day. And then also the Resident Evil collection of Village, Biohazard, and Requiem, all dropping on February 27th. And then jumping over to March 3rd, we're getting Scott Pilgrim EX. And then also on March 5th, we're getting Pokemon Pokopia. So kind of rounds out some of the ones that stood out to me over the next couple weeks. But Barry, any of those that stand out to you, or maybe others that I left off that list that you're hoping to play over
I'm
the next couple
surprised you didn't
weeks?
mention the. It looks like there's a Raiden collection or something that was really early on page one.
Oh yeah.
That was like the shmup that I figured you would go for. Tales of Berseria is also on February 27th. What a
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal JRPG! Love the Tales of games. Um, for me personally, I've already played games like Tales of Berseria. Otherwise, that would absolutely be there. Poker Night of the Inventory, March 5th. Again, a game I played and we'll be talking about soon. The big one for me is Pokemon Pokopia, and I'm really happy that that is the next game because that gives me, for the first time in a long time, I really have a little bit of time. Like I'm working on the Shalnor Legends too. Like I'm going back and just playing some games that have just been on my backlog, and like I really want to get to these games, but I haven't had the breathing room because it's just been game after game after game. I want to play a little more Virtual Boy, and mess around more with that. Just try and do that. Plus, I've got games for ESRB. I'm working on one right now. I've got one on deck, that I can't talk about just yet. But yeah, that's keeping me busy. And who knows, we'll have maybe more game chat games coming. Indies and third parties are always looking. There's just so much still coming out, and that's I say that now, and tomorrow my gaming could completely change because something just drops and it'd be like, hey, you want to get this game early, or you want to try this, or did you even know this existed? I'd be like, no.
Right.
Okay, I'm playing this now. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on playing Rayman yet, and you were just like, "Hey, I got codes. Boom, Rayman, let's go." I'm like, "Okay, let's do it."
Yep. Yep.
So anything can change. The important thing is that there's just so many great games, and I hope that everybody listening has at least something they're enjoying, whether it
Mm,
be something new to look forward to or something that's in their backlog or just something they're working through at their own pace, and they're having fun and they're enjoying it because
yeah.
that's what we need, just to have fun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What about you? Gonna
I
play some AI?
maybe. I don't know. I mean, I made a lot of progress a few weeks ago, and since then, I've not even picked it up, but we'll see. I don't know. I also, so as Barry knows, I just got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate because it's on sale for 75% off right now. Just dropped the new DLC for it as well with another character, but yeah, 75% off, and it was like $8 for the Switch 2 version. I was like, I can't pass that by. So I went ahead and got that. So I may play
I'm
around with
still
that
mad about that.
for the next one. You're mad about it? That's 75% off?
Yeah, I'm mad about it because I no, I'm mad about it because I bought the Switch 1 version
Oh.
with no knowledge of a Switch 2 version because no Switch 2 version was out yet. And then they dropped the Switch 2 version and like buying the Switch 2 version right now is actually more expensive than just like the difference between buying the Switch and Switch 2 versions right now is like 50 cents. But
Mm.
it's going to cost me 250 to upgrade when I already own it. Like give me the upgrade for at least
Yeah.
$1 or something. Like
Yeah.
let me feel like I'm getting a deal. But
Yeah.
it's not even
I
on sale. So I'm like, no, I'm
It's
not
weird
giving you
that
my
the
extra
that
money
the
right now.
upgrade is not on sale. Like the both the Switch 1 version and the
Yeah.
Switch 2 version are both on sale, but the upgrade itself is not on sale. That was strange because I was
My
planning on, because a lot of
this
times
is
what
my
I do
philosophy.
is I buy the Switch 1 version and then I buy the upgrade pack so I can technically play it on both systems if I wanted to. But yeah, I went ahead and got the Switch 2 version because it's cheaper. Just go ahead and buy it.
Yeah. See, my philosophy is with Switch 2 upgrades. If the upgrade is free, I just grab it. I just grab it right away. Like, no
Mm,
problem. Why it's free.
yeah.
If it costs money and I'm going to be actively playing like Shuten Order, it was 250, but I was playing Shuten Order, so I bought it to play the Switch 2 version because I'm actively playing it. Absolutely. If it's a game where it's like, oh, you know what, I might get to this down the road, maybe 6 months, a year, then I wait. And then
Mm,
if it goes on sale, then I'll grab it while it's on sale. If it doesn't go on sale, if this never goes on sale and I finally say, you know what, you play it, you say it's fantastic. I'm like, all right, let me hop in. Then I would buy it at the time I'm gonna play it. Otherwise, there's no reason for me to buy it in advance when it's not on sale because I can get it 250 anytime. Not that it's a lot of money. I'm not saying it's overpriced. I'm just saying it's more expensive right now
mhm,
than if because the version with the bundled is on sale,
mm.
and it's so weird. But that's my philosophy. I don't know if other people have different philosophies, but I
Makes
don't
sense.
jump at a game that's not on sale if I'm not gonna if I'm unless I'm gonna play it right away.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So I'll be probably checking out Splintered Fate. I want to Yeah, I do want to get to those demos that we talked about in the last episode. I did download them all. So I got the Dragon Quest 7 demo, I got the Pragmata demo, and I got the Monster Hunter Stories demo. So I want to check all of them out and see like what I think. I think every one of those are games that I'm like on the fence about, and so I love that they have demos. And like I said, downloaded them, but I haven't got a chance to play them yet. So I
I
feel like I
I
have to
might
do
play
that.
the Monster Hunter Stories 3 demo because I would
Yeah,
usually wait to do that right before the game comes out. And that way it's like I'm playing it a few days early and then I'm jumping right into the game.
sure.
But I don't know with Pokemon if I'm gonna get obsessed and that's gonna take me literally right to Monster Hunter stories or not. So I might wind up playing the demo early just to have myself ready
Yeah.
in preparation.
Nice. Um, I'm intrigued by the Disney afternoon collection. I love like the fact that they added these other games in it too. Like I didn't get it before, and I love it's been tempting me. So I don't know. That might be one of the ones that I just wait to see when it goes on sale. But I
Get
love
its review
that it
code.
exists. I may have to go after it. See if who's is Disney Interactive publishing that, or are they no
Atari
longer a
is
thing?
publishing it.
Okay, yeah, because Disney Interactive doesn't even exist anymore.
That's why
So,
people were upset that the old versions aren't getting updated with the two new games
mm,
because Atari's like, we didn't do those games. That's not our game.
Right.
This is our game. So it's a completely separate entity.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, maybe I'll go back and maybe I'll actually finish AI in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. But I've got too much to do. That's another reason why I'm not playing Pokemon Pokepia. That sounds like a lot of work, and I've got way too much stuff in my backlog to sink hours and hours and hours into a game like that. I'll just live vicariously through you as you're building
There you
your city.
go.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. It has been some virtual insanity here, but glad you guys stuck around with a little extra long episode for this episode. Um, Greg's going to be back, hopefully, for the next episode as well. So there's you guys that have been missing Greg. Hopefully, he'll be back with us on the next episode. Barry, any closing thoughts?
I mean, just keep having fun. Playing games. I could just tell you that there's a lot of good stuff coming. We just at PM we just opened our PanX store where we launched it with Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, second chapter, collector's edition, which I'm so excited that we're working with and we're being a part of because it's like, oh, my company's working with the Trails of series right now. We did Shoot in Order and now this. We got Danganronpa, creator, and we've got Trails of, like, yeah, just keep it up. Keep it. This is fantastic. So definitely check that out. We have a bunch of other games on the way that you'd not want to miss. I know Steam Fest is happening right
Mm.
now. We have a game called Table Flip Simulator that's part of that. I got the pleasure of meeting the developer last year when I went to Las Vegas for Level Up. What a wonderful guy, Spencer. He is fantastic. He actually was a fan of Premium Edition, which was great. So he
Mm.
wanted to buy a game and bring it, and I had me sign it for him, which was just really awesome, like a melding of two worlds. But yeah, check out Table Flip Simulator. It's on Steam Next Fest. There's a ton of demos out there right now, so that's one we're promoting. And yeah, there's just so much. I wish I could talk about more, but all I could say is there's a lot of negativity in the industry, and there's a lot of people on YouTube that are making videos that are just all this negativity and harping on negativity. And I know we had a few negative headlines, but we just talked about them. They weren't the essence of the video. We talked about them because we wanted to report them as news to you. We wanted you guys to be aware in case you weren't aware of it, because that's what we do here. But don't harp on the negativity. The industry, there's a lot of positives. Harp on the positives. Look at the positives, because life is too short to focus on those negatives. So just try and play games, try and enjoy it, try and help out indie developers who are passionate. Does everyone make the best decisions? No. Are some things overpriced? Sure. Are some things underpriced? Absolutely. If you find deals, just just play and enjoy and have fun, and let us know what you're playing, let us know your favorites, because word of mouth is still so important, especially in the days of the internet, where because there's so many games. There's games I'm missing, there's games Steve's missing, there's games you're missing. You that are listening, come to our Discord, join our Discord, talk about it. Let's talk about those games. Go social media, tell us those games. Let's advertise, let's help the little guys. Let's make gaming the joyous environment it should be. And let's all have fun. Let's forget about that stuff while we turn on the controller and turn on the system and just play. And that's the world is the virtual insanity. Let's just find the sanity in it and just have fun.
There we go. Here we go. Well, thank you guys all for being here. As Barry said, join our Discord, join us on social media. We'd love to interact even more with you guys. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, be sure to let us know what your thoughts on any of the news, what you're playing, all that stuff in our comments, or join our Discord. We'd love to hear from you and love interacting with you. That's the bonus. Like Barry and I enjoy playing games and talking about games. We'd enjoy doing that with Greg as well. But yeah, it's our joy to also interact with you guys, and hear what you're playing and hear what you're talking about and everything too. So be sure to jump over there and join us in all of those different ways. Those links are going to be in the show notes and also in the YouTube description as well. So thanks again. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to share it with other Nintendo gamers that are out there. And happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.